himself with the
Okay, hello.
finding themselves, sorry, Asparagus now finding themselves down numbers for the first time, but Daya will trade it back pretty quickly. Oscar gets one, Rexon with another, Rexon with a third.
Hello.
Round. It's a 4 versus
Am I
2.
back and better than ever?
The TCSG and of course the Sloth and the Oryx above, both on site now. What are they going to do with it? Because
Okay,
for me, Asparagus,
I should be live on YouTube now as well for those who prefer watching on YouTube. Let me monetize it though real quick. Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking.
It's going to continue as Daya will find one more pick, Sloth will fall, and a timeout call from Into the Breach. And this, Gibby, is a wise choice from them. They're going to call it. They're going to try and relax and reset themselves as now they are very much in deep water. It is a 4-1 advantage for the offense. It is a very, very tough day for ITB in the office. Even though you'd expect it to be this dominant on the offense from Asparagus, that's how they play. That's what you expect.
Are ITB going to lose to Hungary?
To be in it yet. This is where they need to sit.
I'm scared, chat.
And go into round number 6, find themselves a second and a 4-2 split. That's a recoverable position. But if you go 5-1 down, you leave a lot of work to do in that second half.
Yeah, you ready for some siege bingo though? Because I'm going to use one of the phrases. Yeah, so yeah, this is an ITB timeout, but the timeouts work both ways. Yeah, I said it. Both coaches can talk to the team. But Whippet, we got some information from ITB, at least last week, whenever it was Cooley as the only coach, that the timeouts would be called by the players when they either A, needed to go through their list to see what they're doing wrong in their setup, or B, because Ben or Kendrew wanted to talk to the team. Now with Rando being in there, I think the coach will have more of a say during those timeouts, but it is a lot more player driven, at least for ITB at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, one thing a lot to this though is obviously we on the outside don't know the timeline of when Rando has stepped into this team coming into it. Now, it was announced it was coming into this last LCQs, and if
Thoughts on new Amity roster?
Very limited time to get things working. So this is
They're good. They're pretty solid when we scrim them. I think they're better than
these timeouts if Rando is of course speaking. That's a speculative point from both.
I think they are better than the previous version of the team. Worse than our team? I mean, I'm always going to say anybody's worse. They could literally, anybody could smoke us and I'd still say we're better. We just were being generous.
Look at the lineup that they've brought.
Hold me now.
The only additions I really see is bringing out that Twitch, the clear key utility away.
I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking.
Get that Twitch drone down, clear the Goyo canisters and burn that time early so they can sit and relax for the opening stages of that and not worry about having to wait for fire to this place when they want to get that pressure. And you'll see that Twitch drone go in to bait great, clear that away pretty quickly.
Is Rexon really on that position on the map? Right. Okay, Rexon. I forgot that existed.
That is so much passion, Gibby. That is what I want to see. That's my favorite position to get people on defense. By that I mean, I like to get out there, climb that ladder, and see who on the roof will peek me. I die every time. Every time.
But we spoke about the, you know, as you said, the economy of those timeouts. ITB definitely feel they need the 4-2 half. They need that second round on defense more so than saving that timeout for a little bit later. Ace will open up that wall.
Dude, today at noon Eastern, Bolo and Spoit are 2v5ing all ranks. Yes!
Yes! Should have a huge say. Well, as we saw earlier in this push, you use the sense, you cut off the line of sight, you flood this player, and you go for the kill.
Would you say taking a chance on a newer, less experienced coach is more risky than a less experienced player?
But now you've lost control.
Yeah, I mean, most coaches are going to be less experienced to a degree. I think there's only a few, like, experienced coaches.
And I got to give credit to ITB.
Asparagus tastes so good. I'm not an asparagus guy.
So they do have two defenders now playing inside of sight. It's not as valuable.
Citizen Wash, I swear he used to be good. He was going crazy in the other qual, so maybe just a slow start. Super and Lagonis 2v5 every rank. If me and Lagonis were 2v5ing every rank, how far do you think we would get before we would get smoked? Like, what rank could we get up to before we lose? Do we get past like bronze?
Stuck in that position where he has no counterplay to work with that now. The next pick needs to go for ITB, otherwise they are in deep water here. Sense wall begins to fall away. Rexon looks to find that pressure out by Kochek. Can't get that done just yet. Knows someone's out by Christmas.
Golds, even when I was nasty, were hard to play against because they're like dumb. It's like playing against Gunner. Like, you just don't know what they're doing. They're just gonna be like in random corners and shit. I think Sense is viable situationally.
As a 5 versus 3, Sight might be vulnerable. Zabi's go out, and Kenny's been fully compromised. He needs Oscar to turn around and give him some cover. Sends wall, marks it out, and it's going to be pressure. Wild, or it's going to be Pac-Ball finding himself 2. Oscar trades off 1, but needing to find 4. It's going to be a massive one now for a 2-piece. 10 seconds remaining. Can he get the job done?
Oh my god. Are ITB gonna lose to a team called Asparagus?
Round here on Cafe. And oh my Gibby. Oh my. This is deep water for ITB.
Rexon has been a menace.
Rexon is a menace. Citizen, it really must hate Rexon now.
That's exactly what
if he wasn't sick of Rexon before, he's gonna be sick of Rexon now.
And they're making it work. Yes, you got a little bit of luck. Creeds thought he would catch out Rexon a little bit earlier with the swing inside of, inside by main door, and it just didn't work with it. He got caught out. It was lucky for Rexon. He wasn't trying to kill Creeds, but that doesn't matter. All that matters is the end result, which is who won the round. And Asparagus have a 5-1 lead on Cafe. And even more importantly, Whippet, if you want to talk about the way that Asparagus like to throw off their opposition, they've not gone for what you would class as the primary sites for their first round on defense. They've not gone to the top floor. They've not gone down to kitchen. They have gone in the middle floor. They've extended up to the top floor. This might just put ITB off a little bit as well. They're trying to make them uncomfortable.
The big thing about this Gibby though is we have seen lots of
Switched regions and Rexon follows him region to region. He can never escape.
Teams have it well figured out. They know how it works, how to break it down. This could be a disruptive factor though. Maybe ITV expected it, but a good pick away. Lineup wise, not really shocked. Kenny on towards that blitz. He's a blitz.
What do I think about Asparagus? It's hard for me to judge because I don't really know like much about Rexon or Trash Daya or Trash J. And obviously I know Hungry and Packbull, but all the EU people seem to say Hungry's past his prime and Packbull's kind of a whatever player to me. What's up, Bargo? Daya and Jay played at Gamers 8.
It's a hard game to win inside of Siege. Never mind when you're giving away the numbers on that side of things as well.
Can't wait for Citizen to go to APAC and Rexon gets him.
Standard pieces there. You've got Citizen on the ace. You got Sloth on the Thatcher. That allows you to.
Dude, what? I think it's the Korean teams, or no? Is it the Japanese teams? The guy will their coach will message me on Discord, and it makes me feel cool as fuck because he's like, Super San, we would like to scrim you, sir. Please, Super San. I was like, yeah, we'll scrim you. Like, thank you, Super San. Much appreciated.
Oscar trades one back, but they do have 2 defenders in the middle of sight. Citizen will find Hungry as well, but Rexon wants more.
Is that Japanese culture? I'm not sure which culture that is.
2v2 as Jay is going to push up brown stairs and get the kill. So the big gamble, the primary play of the attacking side, does not work out. So they're going to go
Japanese or Korean. It might be CAG who do that.
1 minute left to go. Creed's the last player standing for the attack on the top floor. Not really got a lot.
My God, this is about to be 6-1, dude. Even Wettables' team could win more than one round, and they're literally horrible.
I'm sorry, Creeds, you might be cracked. You might
Jesus. Rexon is the GOAT.
Oh my, what Rexon has been fantastic so far. The actual backbone of Asparagus, time and time again, finding a massive impact in that round. And now Gibby.
Yeah, I do remember that, K7. I didn't know they were on that team, though. That's interesting.
6-1 advantage.
They had a cheater, though, so what can you expect? Of course they're going to do good. You won your best of 3 today? Nice, man. Who did you beat?
The scary thing about this is Asparagus, they're in complete control of the rounds they win. But what we saw last round, though, was a bare-knuckle brawl outside of Reading. Everyone wanted to get themselves...
Would you say you were more excited to beat Lycus Empire or when you lost to Miss SI? Which would you say was a bigger moment in your career?
Unfortunately, when that doesn't work out, everything begins to fall away.
That's what I'm saying, Froshi.
Control around the map to make that work. Asparagus just won their
When you lost for SI, you were happy? Hell yeah.
It's a difficult spot now. ITB, they have to play perfect. They have to make every.
We're going to our boot camp on Monday, and I was thinking about making the team sit in the boot camp for 16 hours a day. Do you think Rex in would go insane if I locked him in the boot camp for 16 hours a day and he could only play Siege? He can't play League or Marvel Rivals.
But that last round makes no sense to me when you consider that the players on this Asparagus teams were experts at that exact.
Can you come boot camp with us?
So if you try that,
what would you be coming for?
Once more, Rexon was the key. If Rexon doesn't hit those shots on the push, that round goes the other way. It's as simple as that. So for ITB, it's one of those scenarios now where you're 6-1 down. It's a long way to go. Some people like to think, yeah, just get the game over and done with. I think ITB need to win some rounds. I think they need to build up some confidence, draw this one out, prove that Asparagus can bleed and you can beat them, but it's all a matter of time.
Tremendous color, Gibby. Yep, they need to win.
All right, what a Bulls you're in.
They need to win 5 rounds weapon to force overtime, and that's not going well.
Okay.
Help.
What was that then? Oscar and Creed's a nice dynamic combination charged away in the bakery. Packball will find one more on the slot, grows the advantage with 3 versus 4 in favor of Asparagus. Now,
these guys are absolutely getting smoked and shredded and pooped on. This is crazy. Sloth 0-8. He's playing like his name, you might say.
That recovery and find that pick, but they've committed themselves to this front line deep inside of Baker.
But I think Citizen being IGL is weird when you have Kenny. I didn't know Citizen was IGL.
Something to keep your mind on. They won't have that extra smoke canister for the final 30 seconds if they need it. Mute jammers choke out information, make it difficult to find that back line, and I think a sensible choice to fall out.
I don't know what you're talking about, Arrow.
Everyone's stacked up here, Gibby. This is a dangerous one for ITV.
It's horrible for them. They didn't get rid of that Maestro cam earlier either, which is going to impact this game quite a bit. Creed's sending out a fire dart to clear Rice, giving them a little bit more.
Fresh said Ben is IGLing.
Further up inside of prep, but as you can see, an angle being.
Well, it was working for them in the other qual. Maybe they're just ass at Cafe.
You gotta agree with me, but you have to make something happen. You're in a 3v4. You can't afford to be so passive in situations like this. They're stacking up on prep. This screams to me, Whippet, that they're going to get 1 kill and try to get that plant down. Yes, you can use the smoke darts to maybe enable that from happening. Use a fire dart to prevent one of the swings, which is exactly what they do. And Citizen will find a kill. It's a 3v3.
That was a good fire, but I felt like... Should they not have pushed in for the plant off that fire?
But unfortunately, the crossfire held from deep and coat check opens up this round advantage of Asparagus yet again. The Maestro cam shocks away. It's 3 damage, and this is just going to be an absolute nightmare. The case gets tempted by Creed, but unfortunately they know they have to play with their rifles to bait someone out.
He should have pushed through to plant. Oh, are they going to win this round? Oh. Wow. They just got 7-1. Holy moly. Best of 3 though.
Games that have been played, and you don't want to point a finger, but all the way through that matchup, the information game was won by a.
I'm putting up predictions for map 2. We'll just do who wins map 2 since they just got smoked map 1.
And how ironic is it that in that last round, it's a static camera on the wall that they can't even shoot that wins the round or gives enough information to Asparagus to win the round.
Predictions out for map 2.
Poor start for ITB, but we did say Cafe is Asparagus's map. Historically, they're great there.
What would you do if you got beaten by a T2 team like Liss and JJ and Co. in an actual serious match? I would drop people. Unless it was just like so ridiculous, you just have to like. If it's a best of 1, it's a little more forgivable because you can like sweep the leg a bit. And a best of 3, that would be pretty bad. In my opinion, a paid team should never lose to like a T2 team. That's just embarrassing. Like you're getting paid. What is it like to coach Canadian?
Now for ITB, We're gonna break down just a moment after
I mean, to be honest, it's pretty much like coaching anybody else. I don't really know what the correct answer to that is. Like, kind of is what you would expect it to be, I guess, right? Why is this so loud? What was the reason Canadian off DZ? Primarily, I think it was just he didn't get along with Nafe, or they didn't like see the game the same. He didn't get 10 kills patch. It was under. Who do you want as next Cowboys coach? Well, didn't they say they're bringing back McCarthy? I'm pretty sure they're bringing back McCarthy, right? What are you doing? What are you doing, Bo? Does my analyst speak decent English? Yeah, I think so. We just talk over Discord on like chat though, so I mean. You should be a Dallas Cowboys fan like everyone else, Wexy. That's America's team. You hate yourself. Go Rams. I like Matthew Stafford. He played high school football near me. Nah, ITB will probably win map 2 and we'll go map 3. But we'll see, I guess. Canadian grew up, played hockey near you. That's cool. Yeah, I know he likes playing hockey, or he did play hockey when he was younger. He I can't remember who. I think he said he played against Connor Bedard. I think, or no, maybe it was McDavid. He played against one of those guys.
Not at all for others. I'm really looking forward to how we break this down of map number 1 going the way of Asparagus. I think that is an understatement to how map 1 kind of ended Café Dostoevsky. 7-1 usually means that there's a lot done right by one team, a lot done wrong by the other. I want to start about the right that happened here, because reactivity was the name of the game for Asparagus. As you mentioned, Gibson, what happened here that showed that skill?
I think that what you got to say Asparagus did really well is in the early drone phase, you could see they were changing operator lineups based on what the defenders were bringing inside of the game. They just reacted to what ITB were doing.
Have we ever trialed Gavin? No, before he like when he was still in CL at one point, we were gonna try him out, but he had already signed with DZ.
Credit to ITB. I think that their whole game plan was trying to upset Asparagus. They wanted to get aggressive.
We've never like tried him. I think there was a couple points where we were thinking about picking him up, but
you said that they tried to upset them, but I mentioned the broadcast.
it never got to like he was scrimming with us or anything.
That's what Asparagus do a fantastic job of creating time and time again. Whether it's their aggressive rush plays or their start-stop style of play, where they're kind of aggressive, then they slow down. They're always changing pace. And they played a perfect game, always being reactive to what ITB done and shutting them down in those moments. And I mean, we'll talk about the strategy that they have, but of course, they won all their gunfights. Rexon had a massive performance individually, and that can't be understated. Yes, he played within the system, but when your rifle hits every single shot, you're going to win some more rounds. So mechanically, they played exceptionally well to get that victory here on Cafe.
It was beautiful to witness throughout the whole of it, because the mechanical skill was definitely showing, despite preparation on the other side, though. Look, I said it in the beginning, for a 7-1 score, one team did really well, the other team messed up also in their own way. I want to talk about that for a bit before we focus on map 2 here. ITB into the breach whip it. What happened?
This is a very difficult one to answer, because they look disjointed, they didn't look connected as a team, and whether that's a consequence of starting off cold in a best-of-3 series, or the depth of difficulty that Asparagus presented.
Hating isn't a flaw, it's a skill.
I mentioned that they really want to play on
Yeah, not just anybody can hate. You got to know what you're doing to truly be a hater.
Didn't click for it, and I don't think this map stylistically suits them, and I think the scoreline is reflective of that. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of gunfights went in favor of Asparagus, where people like Packwell, Rexon, Deo were winning a lot of them, and it just, when you're losing your gunfights and things are very difficult like that, it's hard to win rounds. You don't win rounds, you don't win games, and unfortunately, on that map, Asparagus just played better, and they get that victory.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it's too worrying if you're an ITB fan, though, because they don't play Cafe a lot. It is a map that we expected Asparagus to be rather strong on, and it is a roster that's going to have some teething pains. Like, at the end of the day, it's map 1 of a best-of-3. How many times in the past have we seen a team get dominated in map 1 and then go on to put in performance? Yes, I'm going to make my mandatory liquid post, but you think back to, you know, the major inside of Jönköping and that liquid game where they got, was it 7-0 in game 1, and then they won the second map 7-1 themselves. So these things can be very, very difficult to read off of one map alone. I will say this. it's a story of two players. Rexon was phenomenal. 14-3, opening kill 3 times, EPS through the roof. And then Sloth, who in my opinion is one of the most criminally underrated players in all of Europe. His stats were phenomenal inside of Korea. I've always thought he's got the potential to be one of the biggest names of Siege. He just couldn't get anything going. And I think he'll be fine. I think expect to see maybe some plays made to get his confidence up in the start of map 2.
It's so tough.
That's copium. Sorry, I'm just huffing it because like Gibson just gave it all to me, and it just.
I thought Milos was like fucking hitting the vape or something.
A couple of 100% costs there going up from Asparagus, meaning that players are having consistent impact, just not on their kills alone, and that's kind of what I expected from that team. I do expect ITB to be a little bit more top-heavy for that impact of roles. I think Kendrew expect that cost to be high because he'll have an impact outside of kills time and time again, but that was a performance that ITB will want to forget going into this one, and as they look towards the
thoughts on Julio joining BDS. Well, he's like an assistant coach or something, right?
Sloth a little bit and see what he can get done to try and get him back up, because a game where you go negative like that is going to have an effect.
What is he going to be doing? Like strat work, I guess, like helping them with
strat.
strat.
I know exactly where they'll have to do it. As you guys were mentioning, Asparagus did pick Cafe Dostoyevsky, so it was their choice. They played with it that way. Now
it's forgotten.
ITB's choice of a border. We might get a clubhouse, but that all depends on ITB.
I mean, usually like more help can't hurt, I guess.
Gibson,
but I'm not sure if it'll make any difference.
Because I see that as Asparagus, this team that moves around.
I'll let my dogs in real quick while they're banning. Get your prediction in if you want.
So our game's ready, so I'm just gonna give it to you. Anyways, give me a whip it. Enjoy.
Yeah. Thanks, Milos. And to your point, Border is a very compact, condensed map. You do.
Risky for you to say I agree with you, but pop off, King. What are you going to say?
You do it more than you used to, right? Border, I think gets a lot of flack for being, gun map. I think there's a lot more wrinkles to Border than people give it credit to.
You know what? Unfortunately, I'm going to agree with you on that one. Border is one of my favorite maps to watch in the current climate of this game. Now, it isn't completely strap-based, I would say. There is still some reliance on your rifle. It is very compact. You're going to run into people left, right, and center, and that's where you need to be able to win those ones. Going this one, ITB do start on the offense here, the typically favorable side on this matchup, and Kenny is instantly donning himself onto that Monty. Blitz has been banned away, so we'll try and bring that shield out. To me, Gibby, are you ready for what this execution looks like? I guarantee everybody who's in chat has seen this in rank. It will likely be an archive take.
Oh, well, last time we saw ITB attacking the site, they put all of the stack.
Pattern recognition tells me BDS isn't paying their player. Didn't
pushing in from the locker side. That's the way they played it last time, and it's a way of extending the defense.
Didn't he say that he hasn't? Oh no, his past like 2 or 3 teams have all stopped paying, right?
That nobody's pushing up to that breach in the early stages. A big thing to keep an eye on is usually what you'll see when there's a mirror in play is the mirror will play behind that wall, looking towards security, and there'll be a player on the CCTV door who will swing around the corner based on the information that the mirror is providing. It's something that you'll see in with the castle being brought as well.
You saw a rumor that BDS might go to Fnatic or G2 next year.
And they might not do it at all.
Eminem and Bleed is past 2 teams. No, not W7 and Fish. I don't think that's true, but I have no idea, Sully.
Statistically driven team. They make their decisions around stats available to them. Asparagus are a side that is, again, perfectly counter to that philosophy. They play off vibes. They play off how they're doing on that day. They're very reactive, as we've been touching on time and time again on our death segments. This side could have this complete setup and then decide we're going to go do something different while having all that utility in place. It's just how they work, and again, it's just that identity when you have someone like Hungry on a team going out into it. Boy, comes being burnt away, opened up already, trying to get that wall opened up and burning away that utility. Again, Archive's execution. No one down below over to see.
Rooting for us in W7M this event. Appreciate that.
In all the right puzzle pieces set up to get this one.
Oh,
to work.
man,
Shield comes the other way,
now
try and get control of security. I think the pivot has been called right to be.
Yeah, curious to see what way they push, because the setup is there for that archive.
Do you think there should be more than 5 partner teams per region? I mean, I'm sure they'll expand it, but I understand why they made it smaller. Because remember, people would be complaining that there's like 50 gun skins for the same gun. So if you limit the amount of skins coming out, but then everybody gets like full uniforms and shit, the teams in the partner program will be more incentivized. Like, they'll make more money because there's less options.
This is not the start that you wanted. Asparagus have got themselves the opening kill once more. Yes,
And you won't have like a million repeat skins.
This looks very, very disjointed from Into the Breach right now. They had everything set up in terms of operator selection to get that archives take to work, and they ran into brick wall after brick wall, or more appropriately, more thematic, castle barrier after castle barrier. They're stuck inside security at this moment. There's nothing they can do.
Well, orgs pick like uniforms and shit based around ranked. So
That's going to be Daya, but they should be able to coast this one out for victory. The smoke cancer goes out, charging in with that glass. Sloth does get one. His first in the series so far. Rexon.
I was just saying, Thunder, that reducing it reduces the amount of skins coming out, which in theory makes people purchase more of the skins that are in. So it incentivizes the teams in the partner program to be in it.
A shield against one very wounded player. Oscar gets that confirmation. ITV get themselves around and also desperately need recovery.
Because like the problem with the R6 program now is that there's so many skins that come out at once that like it's all repeat. But if they limit it, then everybody gets like uniforms, so there's more, like there's more to the skin, and then there's also less of them, so it's more likely your skin gets purchased. Like Sonic's AK-12 skin is good, and then Secret's AK-12 skin is pretty good, and then there are already some good AK-12 skins, right? So like, it's tough to. And what I will say, with the marketplace, I think it's easier to purchase skins because you don't actually have to spend money. You could just like sell one skin and get another if you like one better. But was removing cooking grenades a bad change? I think in some ways it's a good change, in some ways it's a bad change. The thing that they really needed to do with nades, and maybe they just didn't know how, so that's why they removed the cooking, is like the nading through the floor thing was OP. It was too strong. Some like when G2 won SI, they would literally take like 6 nades, go under, and just try to get a kill. Like try to get the opening kill through nades under.
You can relay this and act as a conductor for your team. The drone goes out via that drone hole and does detect that pulse's presence. So now know that cardiac sensor is a factor, and that C4 below might be a threat if they opt to go for that vertical take. But look, that lineup doesn't look like it is.
Yeah, and you look at the lineup, you've got Pulse and Solace, 2 operators, brilliant at trying to work out what the attackers are going to do.
What changes do you want to see the game make better right now?
The first kill, down goes Sloth. Interesting wrinkle.
Nothing comes to mind, honestly. I think ranked, I mean the cheater problem, obviously, but outside of that, I mean nothing in particular comes to my mind when you say that.
But I just feel like ITB, they give up the opening pick far too often. I still think that ITB have got the opening pick once in this best of 3, if I'm not wrong. Once with it.
Yeah, I mean, they're really struggling to find that. The spot's 12 players off, finds Kenny, and it's going to be a nightmare fuel position now as one more player falls. There goes in the DBNO, so one trade off him. ITV getting that back. Susan gets the credit. C4 down below. Hungary gets that on towards Oscar, leaving us on a 4 versus 1. Asparagus very quickly, very efficiently make this a round that is essentially unwinnable for Citizen. He might have won a token army, might have had a little holiday in North America, but Europe is still a difficult beast to conquer, and I don't think he can get this done against 4, only with around 10 HP to his name as well. I think a single stray round will be enough to end this. So Gibby, How are we gonna die? Okay. Bye. Good job, Hungry. Was not expecting that one, but I respect it. Winning to that repel sound, lobs himself out the window, and gets himself a lovely little freebie to wrap things up. So, Gibby, dissect that round for me. What did Asparagus do perfectly? And again, how have they shut down ITB so effectively time and time again here?
Well, they used all the information straight off the bat. So Pulse was by the breach. He was able to let Solace above know. Jay, he was able to say, Jay,
a P5K mute, is that the meta? I would say that is the uncommon meta.
So they were being reactive.
You don't see that too much.
Yes, that's the kind of theme. That's the buzzword of the day for how this team plays. But they were set up to work out where ITB were playing from and to counter them at those points of entry. It was really effective. By the way, nice little
what's up, Troy? How's it going?
Watch it, we care about the history of Siege. That was one time hungry.g2.
Sorry, hey Adam.
One time ben.g2. Citizen. Okay. I keep saying Ben. Why do I keep saying Ben?
I did see they released a pistol skin, yeah.
You know him by his first name, of course.
He doesn't even know who
Not too bad, Troy. It's pretty early, so.
Don't you have a picture of his dog from Copenhagen?
Wait, what?
Do you not remember this? Whoa, okay.
Why are teams so ass in EU? I don't think they're ass. I just think there's a big divide. Like EU's, the top teams in EU are good. I just think like outside of them, it's maybe is a bit weak.
You're beginning to forget things here, Gibby. That's unfortunate for you going into this site. It's gonna be upstairs.
Well, that's just because everybody hires the same designer, Shamrock, and then everybody's going with the like anime shit.
Not the most common operator's choice. What's he cooking on that? Brings, of course, a shield and a very difficult to deal with SMG up close and personal. On a map like this, a massive impact. The pack bull perched up like a hawk, waiting for some prey.
It's Hungry. He had a dice with all the operators on it. He just threw it up in the air and says, right, Ella. We go Ella this time. Because that's just the way Hungry plays the game sometimes. But you think about the impact, right? You've got most of the Grismot mines are out already. One in the back pocket, which will be his kind of escape plan, his exit strategy if he needs it a little bit later on in the round to buy himself a little space and time.
Wait, where the fuck is he? Is he sitting on top of the bomb?
Lost so far. You've got 3 nades which can be used to get rid of those castle barricades because yeah, that's all the nades are pretty much good for.
He is. He's standing on top of the bomb. No, that Goyo setup is fine for dealing with like a archive rush.
Yeah, I know, but
I don't know about putting 2 there, but I think having 1 there is good for an archive rush.
But they weren't able to clear it. 3-2-1 lion scan. But no real execute off the back of it. Fall back through fountain. Don't block your teammate Rex, and I know that you're a bit of a star, but you do need a little bit of help from Hungry in the mix as well.
Is that allowed? Yeah, he just jumped on top of the bookcase and then jumped onto the bomb. He didn't boot. He didn't like do an illegal boost onto the bomb. As long as you don't do something illegal to get into the position, it's fine.
Candelas go out and try and buy some space, but again, similar towards that lion scan, there's no direct push behind it. They have nothing in terms of control. These castle barriers restrict their movement, and Asparagus have everything funneling down these very select lines. The mirror window on Archive Armory wall is not going to be a massive benefit for them. They have to figure out a way to clear it. Actually, no, there is no mirror there, but he's got a canister that will buy some time. The Deimos track goes out, but guess what? You can't get him from down below, and Deimos isn't even down below to try and stop this. They have a lot of C4s, actually no, only 1 C4 to work with to try and stop anything. The pressure out towards Sandwich Window makes movement in this site very difficult. But you're just inviting Daya to get
the hell?
And Kenny gets caught napping on that window, and the Goyo canister burns away. You know how to take a gamble, peek out wide through those flames. A deep swing now from the mirror. Daya needs to win these ones. But Gibby, top of your screen, 15 seconds remain. ITV need a miracle, and Daya's gonna be a nightmare for them. Oscar finds 1, but it might only be a consolation. 10 seconds.
They're just very slow. Like they're not taking any map control.
3, just like that.
Like, what was their whole attack? They were trying to do an armory attack, and then they just couldn't do anything and ran away, basically.
He just peeked and 3 players walked into his POV with the UMP, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure somebody with a DMR with a quick trigger finger can fire bullets quicker than that thing, still gets the job done. Asparagus winning another round. Yes, they're on defense, on border, so we calm down just a little bit. You know, it is defense. You're expected to win more rounds than you're going to win on attack. ITB there are danger signs there. You and I both know that this team have got so much talent that they can turn this around. But you got to give Asparagus flowers. They're counter-playing ITB to perfection. It's working.
If teams stop buying, if people stop buying them, Shamrock, the reason that everybody does anime skins is because that's what people buy. So it kind of comes down to consumer demand, right?
Are you saying it's two Irish people on the watch downfall of the fall of the British org? Is that what it is?
Like, all the orgs just didn't start making anime skins because they really like anime. They started making anime skins because that's what people were buying.
I refuse to read the script, Gibby, of course. I do not
You've
want...
never done it. It's obvious you've never read the script, mate.
I mean, have you ever seen my talent predictions, mate? Doesn't go particularly well for me, unless it's calling for Latam. Best region in the world, by the way. Not gonna pick up on that
I was
one.
expecting... You said so I thought there was a counterpoint there.
What about Sonic? I think the Sonic's skin was pretty good. The background card I thought this year for Sonic's was really good. Although I don't think it's in the store anymore, but the background card I thought was great.
Oh my god, the SMG.
P90, come on, the
Yeah,
French,
the P90.
Belgium technology, I should say.
The tech, absolute tech, by the way. 2 minutes and 25 seconds to work with. You look at the drone economy, you and I have been pointing.
Yeah,
out
the
this, where
AK-12
ITB
background
losing
and the
this game
gun.
So far, they've lost all the drones inside the prep phase. They've 5 left to work with. Yes,
I did think the Falcons skin that they had was pretty good for, as like a non-anime. The Falcons like bandit skin was good.
All in all, it's more. Here we go. There's the smoke. There's the EMPs. Are we going to get the repellent, or is this just a bit of an old bait whippet trying to get rid of some utility? Are they trying to clear that last C4? Because if they were trying that, it didn't work.
They just burnt, essentially, every bit of execution utility that they want to work with. And Gibby, I heard little EMP bursts from a bulletproof camera. If a single BP with thermal vision...
But Falcons have so much money, they might have had like Michelangelo himself crafting that skin design. Who knows? You know, like, God knows who they had doing that.
Half their smoke grenades. Oscar Sword brings 2. This is a lot they've dumped away to try and bait a reaction, try and bait out 1C4, and I don't know if it was necessarily a trade for trade in terms of utility economics.
Can you patent a strat so you can sue other teams when they use your strat? No, I don't think so.
Trying to get the case down, I might be able to find it. Citizen gets one towards Daya, and nobody is watching that case go down. An absolute freebie, and the glass on the window is now a massive sentinel. He can sit there and he can be a
Yeah, Da Vinci made the Falcon skin.
Falls, and that's going to be the cannon gone from Asparagus. And I have a feeling this round should go for ITB, as it might be a
2-2. Sloth got a kill. He's heating up.
It's all done. No magazine is SMG11. ITB find themselves around. And they get a lucky one for that one, but a great moment. He saw a gap.
How was my impression as a coach playing against VP at the major? They pretty much do what you expect. I thought we overthought it. I thought we should have probably won, but we overthought it a bit.
On cue, with Rexon getting the kill on the other side of the map by main door, did they go, okay, well, one of the defenders is still extended over.
I wouldn't say 90% Kniff, but he does a decent amount of them, yeah.
And that's the Solace, by the way, who'd be able to spot where that case is going down. Was that the information?
Are they underestimated? They might have been underestimated going into the last major. They won't be underestimated going in SI because they placed well.
I think they dove deep past that BP because there was a BP watching the Vulcans in case they tried to plant within that smoke or when they baited out C4s. So they go deep. No one watched that BP for a brief moment. They saw a window and they got that execution down while no one was watching. So ITB, ultimate opportunists in that moment. They cashed in, got that round, and they bring themselves level here on border.
And this is a very, very big round, I feel like, in the way this game's going to play out. Asparagus, they want to get the 3-2. You have to remember, only once. Yeah. Oh no, why would you say that? But
you set me up for it, Gibby, and I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't hold back from that one.
But Whip it, only once in this best of
7-8 are the worst losses, yeah.
And that was the very
I'd rather get 7-0 than 7-8.
Since then, they have been level or winning. ITB looking to take the lead just before the side swap. Can they make it happen? You got to get that camera from outside main door. Citizen will catch out Jay, who likes to go for a bit of a wander. He tried to make a play, and Citizen was waiting. So ITB getting the opening kill of the round again. So a lot of trends starting to get changed. And look, I love this from Citizen. He's playing the mental, an ego challenge. He says, And if anyone's going to win an ego challenge, it's going to be Citizen.
Drone goes out, the text Daya on that pulse. Citizen was impressed with his own craftsmanship for that one. A good early advantage now. They do lose that solar. And we mentioned that this was a very important part of the strategy when they were defending out towards tellers. That being able to read that case going down, get the next information. They have a pulse still. They realize that there's players up on that balcony, that Armory might be next in the hit list for the side of ITB. And they will find one back. That's on towards Creeds. You lose.
What did he type? He typed what they said. He said, "Holy shit, that was an ego chow."
Better be a TY. No. Daya says no. Bad shot.
Shut him down. Shut him down. No niceties allowed in this matchup. We are trying to qualify for the 6th invitational here. So 4 versus 4. Oscar once more on the glass. Sloth on the Ying again, hoping those Candelas can really create some chaos and catapult him into a position where he can start having a more impactful role on the team. The breach now has been opened. You've got the Candelas on that sandwich window. Oscar creeping his way across, trying to make as little noise as possible as he moves towards that window. But if you stun the players above, it allows you to vault into that window. It allows you to get the case down with 54 seconds left on the clock. Time is running out on that opportunity to do so.
C4 goes out, and that's going to be lost within the win, so that's one part of key utility now.
I don't know why ITB don't play like Brava or Flores or something. Because these guys have been running like Goyo, Bulletproofs, Maestro, and they're never bringing... Like, they even banned Maestro this map, which is crazy. Like, just run Brava. If teams run Maestro and you run Brava, you're gonna hack some of those cams, and then you just have like unlimited intel.
And does so. The smokes don't go deep enough. A deep run out from the mute as well, causing reactions. Doesn't need to drop from that cover. An advantage with Asparagus. Sloth will find one, but vaults in only to a volley of gunfire. Citizen alone and can't find a miracle. Rexon pops off again, finding 2, and it is going to be another round of the defense of Asparagus.
But they're just running so much shit you have to deal with. They're running Fenrir. We've seen Maestro. Obviously, it's banned. They've obviously got bulletproofs.
It's insane. And are we
they're not running anything to deal with it.
Maybe for 2025 with how he's been playing. Yes, let's not lie. He's gotten a couple of freebies. That one was a freebie as well, as we saw the extension deep to try get the case down right in the line of sight of Valk. But whenever Asparagus have needed a play, it's been Rexon. 9 and 2. 3-2 up for Asparagus now again.
Yeah, but Twitch is probably the worst. Given what this team is running, Twitch is probably the worst of the options. I guess for this site, it's not, because they're running this, like, Goyo strat. But...
He is getting Don't you dare! No!
What might I be referencing there? Well, I don't know.
I'm not even going to allow you to... No. You, no. Come on, Gibby. That's loud. That's music on Twitch. How dare you?
Oh no. What do you do for ITB? What do you do?
For ITB right now, I think the big thing is you really have to focus on trying to get these crossfires established and stop the free-flowingness of
I'm wondering if these are their actual strats, or they're like trying to counter ITB, saying ITB are like slow. Because like that Goyo on the wall there is really weird. What, like, I feel like you would put it outside, like book side, but they're almost just saying that this team's like fucking slow as hell.
And ITB's decision making has been somewhat slow. Their decision to dive in late on that last round attacking bench was, again, they wasted a lot of time. They didn't have anything set up for it. They didn't even have enough verticality control.
Does Asparagus have a coach? No idea. I assume they probably do. They played in the leagues and stuff. Like they played in the tier 2 league.
ITB need this round. One level and a half would be a massive benefit from them, because it's been a kind of on the ropes performance from them so far.
Yeah, and you look at this defense.
You don't like border?
Very extended across the map, whereas a lot of the attacking presence is kind of the same. They're looking to fight at the points of entry. It looks like ITB are trying to find the weakness on this defense. You look inside a CCTV security and you see a maze, and whip it, there's the flip. They're completely changing their line of attack, and that castle barricade on the door.
I don't know what I would say is my least favorite map. I think Consulate is horrible. I think Sky has like the lowest play rate.
ITB are just running into roadblock after roadblock, and you know what? It felt like it was a similar story on Cafe as well. These castle barriers just limit maneuverability on a map like Border. You want to get in. Fighting for that initial entryway is the hardest part. Creeds does get one on the day. That's security control guaranteed, but it's a little bit more difficult than that. There's openings. So look
oh, shit on.
Deep swing from Hungry. Are you kidding me? Jay's gonna get
Creeds just got absolutely fried.
3 versus 2 advantage. Asparagus and ITB. Everything they worked for control of security gone in a heartbeat. And the 2 players stuck out towards the A site. This is so difficult for them. And it's a difficult day in the office. I got scared that the server went down, but okay, we'll find one more. Citizen falls, and he's
Jesus, that's a 2-4 attacking half on Border. Is this going to be a 2-0?
Look, that's a freebie. And I think this is just going to be ITB. Timeout maybe needs to be called because this is
can't call timeout at the half. Why would you call timeout 2-4? You haven't even defended yet.
Yeah, and Asparagus are just dominating the information game, and it's so clever again. You look right, a few little things to point out.
Border is usually attacker sided, fathead. It's 3-3 or 4-4.
I'm going to call that tactical timeout whip it. At least Citizen has asked for it, but you have drones, right? They decide they're going to push all the way over to go back and over top east. There's a castle barricade there. That castle barricade has been there since the start of the round. If they drone that out, they would know that's going to happen. You've got Daya playing on rafters, playing for the audio, knowing for a fact that if they rotate that way, that they cannot get in top east straight away. So they're probably going to re-peek the window, knowing that Daya knowing that is going to win that.
I do think Border is definitely a cheese. I think every map is a cheese map, to be honest.
I don't know if this round is going to start
with the amount of like shields you can run, I think every map's a cheese map basically. But
what?
One of the spectators did leave.
One's back though. So
back.
Trade.
The observers have traded. Oh no.
The observer transfer window is open actually. So we had a
observer roster lock in a week.
Observer roster mania goes crazy, Gibby, going into it. But Boss G in play. Are we really shocked? Actually, I thought that was Citizen on the Boss G. No, that will be Kendrick. Now, we mentioned information is key in a game like Rainbow Six Siege, and, well, Valkyrie is the queen of information. Cameras tossed around the map to try and give a massive, expansive network of that information. But, Gibby, all that information is all well and dandy until there's a Super 90 or Supernova in the hands of an Amaru charging straight at you. One beehive misses, second one's going to be good information gathered out towards these stairs. They now know a Boss G is lurking there, and it's just going to be a difficult day now. And there's that Supernova finding one. That's going to be Kendrick.
You just got a Maru shotgun up the hatch. Get fucked.
Because you've created a dilemma. Now remember, problems have solutions. Dilemmas have multiple outcomes, all equally as bad. You have an Amaru stuck in office with a shotgun. You can't pick this up close to personal, and burnt a C4 away. This is a great play from Daya.
Just say all dilemmas have outcomes that are equally bad. There's the negative message of the day from Whippet. We're all doomed. As we see the long angle getting peaked by the UMP, which will help in that fight with the shotgun, as you spoke about a little while earlier. 90 control being held as well by Asparagus, as Creeds will attempt to retake some control. Position is known, so there's no point in running away. He may as well.
Border's just a map where you have to fight early. Like most of the maps, you can kind of like layer and fall back to an extent. Border, I think it's really hard to play to fall back.
You've got Finka, you've got Zoth, 3 operators that are excellent at getting some control, and Rexon will.
So you just have to play it like aggro and try to fight them at the entrance points.
Oscar and Citizen. People who are fans of speaking about DNA and the history.
I don't necessarily mind that though, because that's like a different style than the other maps. Oh my god, Oscar. What? What is Oscar doing? Oh my. Hungry is like 400 years old doing that.
Take yet another round loss. 5-2. 2 advantage from Asparagus. Now, we mentioned a little bit, so Gibby, during this week, we've been doing our little bit of prep work. We've been looking at the numbers, we've been running the charts, and, you know, all the important things before a game, of course. We were playing ranked, by the way, that's what that all means, actually. And we said this event is going to be much more different than people expect going into it. ITB look a strong side during the LCQ qualifiers to get to this point. Asparagus, aside with talent all galore. Matchko and G2, well, that's a freebie for the Italians later on today. And we said this is more than a 2-horse race. Everybody would look this going. The teams that were in EUL are going to be massively advantaged going into it. ITB have been beaten to the punch by Asparagus here in this first series. Now, it's not over yet, of course. There's still a long way to go. This could still end up on Clubhouse, but Asparagus have played a perfect game. They've used the experience.
Guys, hard to attack because the map is so small that you can basically play both sides of the map without having to like rotate much. Like, you can make lines of sight that allow you to play each side of the map without really having to extend too far, so you can get back to sight and you can help both sides of sight like pretty easily.
It will be G2 in the lower bracket later today, by the way. That's a spoiler, not a prediction, by the way. They're losing the match show 2-0 again. This is very intriguing that you could have the two sides that were competing inside of the top flight league of Europe. One of them is going to go home on the opening day. That's incredible for the talent that Europe has a region.
It's terrifying, and it's the important thing you mentioned in that whole speech was every team here deserves to be here. Every team earned the right to be inside of these qualifiers. We said Asparagus's map pool might be their demise, but they've got maps they're comfortable on, and they're showing what they can do. If you're an ITB fan, even if you lose this map, all is not lost. There is a lower bracket, which you're going to have to play G2 in a little while earlier.
You know, I like this, Gibby. We're manifesting it, by the way.
Well, you think about, these LCQs, and you look at teams like Asparagus.
Jesus.
So think back to
Oh, a fucking field day with utility.
We had Makers make that incredible run to qualify for an SI. They have shown that this can be done. Asparagus, they're trying to do the same. Look at what they're doing right now. Get the information. It's the part of the game that... Oh my god, Creeds, what have you done to poor...
Well, I don't think they all get paid the same, definitely. So I don't think Packers getting paid like the same as Spoit.
This is what we want to see from Creed. So just being a nuisance, being that thorn in the side. He's mechanically one of the best players in the world right now. And if you just let him find shots, let him swing out wide, it can be a disaster class waiting to happen. Now he gets his one, he retreats, gets himself back to safety. But now all of a sudden, Day is going to creep up and find some pressure on that armory wall. This cuts off a deep rotation, spots the ponytail of the Azami, but decides trigger discipline is a very important...
Yeah, Packer gets paid more than Spoit.
And we'll wait, and is essentially gone fishing, waiting for a freebie, waiting for a rotation, and he'll be patient for that as the rest of his team begin to chip away at the defenses scattered out towards his office side of the map.
15 seconds left on the clock. You've got the numerical advantage of your ITB. It's very important now that you hold your angles and look at the position of those defenders. Every single one of them within a second or two of each other. They can all fall back and assist the other if the pressure gets a little bit too much. The Sens wall will go out, maybe enabling a push through that door. And look, it does work. It gets the swing, but the player below isn't able to capture it. Hungry's going to go for the plant. He's going to shotgun through. Kenny will get the kill. Oscar finds another, but Rexon has been a problem. Oh, hello, Castle. Rexon gets another freebie. It's been a man of many talents so far. Creeds will make it a 3 versus 1. It's all down to Rexon. Got a stim in a few seconds time. One left that he can utilize, but he's only got 7 seconds. There's the stim. It don't matter. Citizen gets the kill, and ITB pull one back.
It was an ugly round, but a good round for them at the same time. They get the job done. A scrappy fight as that case goes down in the midst of a Sens wall, and it will be one very important round for ITB. Every single round they get means so much for this team at this moment. They want to stop Asparagus getting that map and series point advantage as much as possible. So they will fight tooth and nail for this. ITB on the defense will opt to go themselves down the customs. Now, not the most common of sights when we go to a map like or go to border. Teams don't like this sometimes. You're very vulnerable if you lose security. There's lots of angles to put pressure on directly, and there's very limited positions to play comfortably to deny plants once you lose that top 4 control. For Asparagus, expect them to fight heavily for that top 4 control, unless they opt to go direct and try and get that case down either in B or charge themselves in via passport pretty quickly. Again, with Asparagus, we just don't know what they're going to think sometimes because they're that reactive, as you mentioned earlier.
And honestly, if they go on to win this game, I'm not overly worried for either of these teams. Like, I'm not going to say going down to the lower bracket's a good thing. It's not.
It's not.
But I
again,
feel like
you're up against G2.
Yeah.
It's a dead horse at this point. I'm going to just...
Yeah.
You know.
But I feel like ITB are better equipped for the lower bracket than Asparagus with their map.
Packers getting paid in the millions. He's the only millionaire Siege player.
In that lower bracket. So if you're an ITB fan, all is not lost. If you're an Asparagus fan, you feel like you kind of need to win this matchup. But to do so, you need to get 7 or 8 rounds, which is still a little ways away. ITB have lost the information game. It's something that Asparagus have been brilliant at. And again, Whippet, the drone phase is over. They've got 9 left in the back pocket. They can get tons of information. Hungry will be able to get information with the bees. Jay will get information with the scans as to where those defenders are. You've got extra drones in the pocket of Packbull, who'll use the Brava to get extra information. All in all, it's great, but there you go. Sloth, one way to stop it is get those opening kills.
This has been an area for ITB that throughout this series, Cafe and so far on board that they've struggled with consistently is that opening pick advantage. Now, they've got that opening pick. Now, can they turn this into a cascade of pressure? Can they make this kind of a...
LMG on Fink is better than the AR. LMG just has slow ADS time, I think.
We've learned this time and time again. ITB in a great position. Play things safe. Be risk adverse. Don't take any gambling peaks. Just sit still and play nice and relaxed.
It's hard to be relaxed though whenever you're in a game like this for both sides. Daya clearing space now. He was involved in a massive fight by this balcony a little while earlier, but Creeds is playing the opposite role this time around. He's not been droned. They have no clue that one half of the Spin Twins is not too far away, and he's going to get on his move. He's going to get the kill. He's going to get the case. He runs out to find another, but Packbull will play.
I mean, that wasn't worth it. He let him open up the wall and everything, like,
that's the only bit of hard
to go 1 for 1. He should have just fucking killed him then when he was throwing it. He could have killed him and then shot the shit off the wall. I guess they have the castle, so never mind. I guess the castle protects the angle a bit.
Just know that he's going to play an important game and kind of be relaxed with it. Citizen finding himself too, just like that. Asparagus reduced to 1.
Oh!
It's going to be down. The Packbull finding himself a 3-piece. 2 more to go to win this round. Gibby. No way Peter Bull gets this one done.
Well, you know what you and I call Peter Bull, and we will call him that if he wins this round.
Exactly. So the nickname, the rule of nicknames has been evoked for this one, Gibson, going into it 24 seconds. And again, he does have that case available to him, opting to not go in with the case. No win condition, opting to use his rifle. That's his choice, but a very wise decision. A member of ITB rotated upstairs. Yeah, the upstairs has been taken. The case is cold. He'll charge in. Look to find one. Can't get it done.
Was Packbull just trying to get the round over with? He didn't pick up the bomb and then he's dropped to sight. Pix, thank you for the tier 1, by the way. And M7, thank you for the 19 months. Appreciate it.
All the tactical timeout. And Gibby, you mentioned that often we have seen this core of these players, whenever Asparagus have been on a team together, they often begin to fade in the latter stages of a best of 3. When it was
now I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking and maybe 6 feet ain't so far down.
Where they're beginning to fall away the later stage of this round, because now ITB, they rallied, they got themselves within 1 round from drawing this game level.
I really hope that we're not going to see that, because I feel like getting over that best of 3 hump is important. You look back at
Rexen. This is actually Rexen playing. Rexen wanted to make sure that Citizen did not make SI, so he's playing NEU for this one.
An upper bracket game, they lost the lower bracket game, they lost in the open quals. Then you look back to, you know, the older roster where we saw Daya and Jay playing together, and they lost that.
My setup is nice, thank you.
Falcons, where they felt that they
appreciate it.
have won in the best of 3.
That game on Villa, Gibby, that went crazy. You're giving me some nostalgia there.
But it's the same players over and over again, and they're incredibly talented. But I just feel like your mental and the way you think about things is so important. And I feel
Why do
like
you
the
say
longer
Prime
this
Rex
goes
in on
we lose this
LG? I
map,
think Richie's
that
better on
list will just keep getting louder
Sonics
and
than he
louder.
ever
Say,
was
it's
on
happening
LG.
again. It's happening again. They need to win this map to expel those demons.
Nobody thought of
How are they gonna
Richie
do it?
as one of the best
Well, you
players
look
on
at the
LG.
lineup for this round in particular. It is explosive. It is frustrating to play against. You think about Packbull and the fact that you can make those phone calls, you can get all that information.
Do you think Chalet and Border are both maps you have to fight super early on more than the other maps?
A lot of problems on the Ash.
Yeah, I don't think Chalet as much as Border though. But yeah, I think those are maps where you do need to kind of fight a bit. I mean, you need to fight on every map. Some it's just easier to kind of like layer it more than others.
Now, Caveat has had more rounds to play this time around. Still, massive level of individuality has been a massive factor for Asparagus so far. ITB on a bit of a rally here, finding themselves 2 consecutive rounds, 2 very needed consecutive rounds. They're putting pressure now directly on this window where Pal Candelas go in, but ITB are yet to make a drastic reaction to it. It's one alone player, that one single Ying, so there's no support there, and that won't be an execution. So I think the intention was to try and force some repositioning, to try and force some potential movements for a potential retake. ITB did not take the bait. They hold their ground, hold their positions, Asparagus now have to rethink their primary plan.
Yeah, but Whip it. They didn't even have a glass. It was all about trying to beat utility, get rid of C4s. Ying went there all by herself while everybody else went elsewhere around the map. It's like you said, a little bit of chess being played here by Asparagus to try and make ITB think that it's going to be that standard rushed take. Phone call, logic bomb will be deployed. Hungry, get off the back of that information. We'll take.
Ooh, whiff.
Oscar elsewhere makes a trade, but there's Packbull.
Big win there by Packbull.
Taking down Citizen. You feel like for Oscar this is a big fight, but does he know he's got his back to a player not too far away? Oscar knows. Oscar gets the kill, but Hungry with another trade is.
1v3. That'd be match point. King Kenny 1v3.
He's below. He's got Legion.
Ying is good on Border because of the like Broshi was saying in chat earlier. It's Border's a big cheese map, and it's kind of hard to push in areas, so people just cheese it to get in. Because Border's basically all doorways, so you kind of gotta cheese your way in.
Around for Asparagus, and they played it perfect.
It's all doorways and windows, like small doors, not.
Too many heartbreaks, too many disaster classes and lessons in overthinking and underthinking. 40 seconds and 3.
What's up, Grant?
Kendrew on full HP, the widely old veteran for this side, the Tokonami Pro League champion with Navi, but shut down by Jay and Asparagus.
Match point here for Asparagus. Remember, it is WLM, but they're kind of whooping on him a bit.
Here against ITB. Now, of course, it is a double elimination bracket, so all your ITB fans, me, do not worry. They will have a chance in that lower bracket against the loser of Matchco versus
The last Border.
Well, actually, in the game after this series, but now it is all
Let's see
on the British roster. ITB 6-4 down. Asparagus on the cusp of a massive upset here in the opening game of our LCQs for Europe.
All you gotta do is win one round before the opposition wins.
I mean, on Border at the major and the last stage,
to force overtime.
it wasn't crazy attacker sided. Like, look at the defensive win rates for this. Like in NA, I think it was attacker sided because apparently us and DZ suck at defending Border. And even SSG, like we beat SSG on Border, so I don't even think that's accurate. But like, the Brazil teams seemingly are not bad at defending it, or like Colors.
We've said it. Between Citizen with his experience in NA and his experience in EU,
That's
Sloth having played in Korea and EU, and you've got Kendrew, they have seen
everything
that can be done inside of Siege.
I don't know, maybe it's just who's playing, but
just what they're playing. Stop trying to play off of plan.
Tellers is the worst site, I think. It looks like it's Armory, Vent,
that can shut down these attacks,
maybe even Customs, and then Tellers.
Playing off of
At least based off the last tournament.
To prove they still have a pulse, and Asparagus could be 2 minutes 30 away from getting themselves to the next round of the upper bracket. one step closer to a trip to Fenway and Boston for the 6th Invitational.
Oh my God. They're going to Fenway. What are they doing there?
The previous rounds, they need to be able to find that success yet again. Asparagus tend to struggle without that numbers advantage. But look at this lineup.
I think Customs has been getting played more lately, though.
The Candelas with Ying, they've got the Bees on Grim, and a lot of aggressive plays that can buy them space. But great block there, as Oscar will deploy that Kiba barrier. That denies the Bees going down, and that gives them more space. But look at this, Packbull just charges in wide.
Hungry's just running around in the smoke.
They walk in the waiting arms. The from Kenny, and Sloth and Creeds mop up the rest.
4-6, and they just decide to toss around away. Let's get it.
And ITB, for the very first time, or in a long time, are in a comfortable position in this round. Oscar will get one more, shuts down Rexon, leaving us in a 5 versus 1. And surely this should all be wrapped up nicely to force us to a 12-round slogfest between these teams.
I love it. Asparagus, whenever they were on match point, look, they know they've got 2 attempts, though. They looked at it and says, we've got another attempt at match point.
Who do I think is going to go to the Super Bowl?
Let's try to make some. Didn't work out. ITB held their ground. The smoke from Kenny came in.
Eagles, Chiefs.
Forced Hungry and Packbull to swing around the corner because they're not going to fall back. They're not going to leave the building. And off the back of that, they got a couple of huge kills. So, Daya, as you can see, with it not being overly active here on the Ying, because this is an opportunity for Asparagus to talk about the
actually,
you know, it's a ad hoc timeout that we like to call it from time to time. Yeah, he's on the roof. They're talking. That's exactly what they're doing. They're having the discussion.
I could see the Lions making it, but they have a lot of injuries, so we'll see.
This round is lost.
And I know Minnesota got shit on by the Lions, but I could see them making it. I kind of just feel like the Eagles will make it. I don't know. I feel like the Eagles have a good team for the playoffs. Like, they're very ball dominant because they run the ball well. They have good defensive players. I don't know. But we'll see. And then I'm always going to pick the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl at this point. Like,
in a position that I've been waiting to say all day long. We have been forced to all 12 rounds of regulation, and a storyline.
The Chiefs to me are like they don't really turn up until the playoffs. Like, I don't think they're really going balls to the wall. You think the Eagles lose tomorrow? Who do they play?
The pick of Asparagus was a 7-1 domination from them, and it has been a back and forth brawl.
One more match point here for Asparagus.
Left to go, or 12 rounds, all she wrote.
Oh, we'll know pretty quickly with it as we look at that lovely replay of going back up to the roof. But yeah, there's where the smokes came out, right? Those smokes forcing Hungry and
Packers. I don't think they'll lose to the Packers.
Was what won that round for ITB. And Asparagus, you got to give them credit. They swung it.
I mean, they didn't purposely lose. They just didn't play their starters.
It didn't work. And you and I have always been and will always be proponents of you're never going to give out at a player trying to make a play happen, right? It's better than doing nothing. They tried to get aggressive. It didn't.
No, I don't think the Green Bay will beat the Eagles.
Into their own hands. 6-5 the score.
Realistically, I think the Lions are probably the favorite to make the Super Bowl. I just have a feeling they'll lose. Because isn't Montgomery out for? I mean, Gibbs is really good too, but the Lions just have a ton of injuries, especially on defense. I know Montgomery's now out for the season, but like on defense, the Lions have so many injuries. They're going customs here, 6-5. To send this shit to OT. Montgomery's supposed to come back to playoffs? I thought they said he like tore something and he was out for like the season. Unless that was like somebody trolling on Twitter. Oh, no.
Will likely play a little bit more in their shell. We'll play further back and try and wait this one out to have Asparagus show their hand first.
Opening kills needed for ITB. Creed's the aggressor time and time again. A long angle being held from Rex and looking in towards Breck. Creed's has got to be so careful that he doesn't lose a fight that he doesn't even know that he is in. Looking at the verticality from below. Stun grenades being thrown. Packbull will reveal the position as the mirror window will be destroyed. But a minute and 40 gone. And
Oh, I see, Asian.
any real inroads of this map.
I think they have a decent chance, but they have a lot of injuries. I think the Vikings could make it for sure, too. Because the Vikings have a really good defense. As long as Sam Darnold doesn't, like, shit himself. But it's hard to trust him, obviously. He's probably the worst of those quarterbacks. Uh-oh. Opening kill for Hungry.
And now this has been the story for ITB. Round after round after round, the opening pick goes against them. Asparagus now in a charging condition. Can they get this one round out? The Grim Bees go out. Still security, a stronghold.
You think the Vikings lose to the Rams? No, it's doubly a limb, Octo.
Could be called the logic bomb rings out. They know there's a second player there. But the C4 down below will find one on towards Daya.
I don't think Stafford's as good anymore. If it was same old Stafford, I could see that. But Stafford's been pretty mid this year.
But the defense have some structure and delay remaining, but one player down below with a burnt C4.
It's Kenny Kendrew. Yeah, that's King Kenny.
And they might be able to toss this one out.
Kung Fu Kenny, as his friends call him. Karate Kenny, as the ladies call him. 2v4, 10 seconds left. Bomb going down. Oh, Kenny, what are you doing? What is Kenny doing? What? Why did he swing that way? Oh my god.
And Asparagus get over the best of 3 burden.
Well, he had a ping on him. He just needed to full send it, because if he just downs the bomb there, they win. Like, all he needed to do was down him. You just have to full send it right there, no? Wow, that means that ITB are going to the losers bracket immediately, down 2-0, getting smoked. Didn't see that hat coming. And so Asparagus are now going to be in the winners. Let me pull up the bracket.
I love a good story. I really do love a good storyline, and this is exactly what we got in this case. Asparagus make it through, and what a way to get it across the line by kind of tugging at our heartstrings until they're able to close map number 2 here on the border. Proves that if you have the guts and if you can think on your feet, you can still advance here at the higher levels of Rainbow Six competitive play.
But they're going to go to the losers bracket here.
ITB whatsoever, they can still get their way.
These matches are all played tomorrow, right? Yeah, they are.
Extra hard to go through because now, well, you're down to 1 life. You cannot make mistakes like you did today. But gents, this is a great start to the LCQs. There's no 2 ways around it.
And then when is it?
There isn't. Like, this is the perfect matchup for us going into it. Now, I would have liked Cafe to be a full 12-rounder, but Border tested both these teams to the absolute limit. And I think the big story for me going into this is that ITB just couldn't find the opening engagement time and time again.
I think NA is pretty easy to predict, but we'll see. Like, NA, I think Wildcard and OXG just win for sure here. But we'll see. I guess I thought ITB would win for sure, too, to be fair.
Very talented from ITB, but on the day, you just saw a better performance from Asparagus, and I think they played their strategy, they played their style perfectly, and ITB just weren't quick enough to react, and unfortunately, that does mean they lose 2 maps. Down the lower bracket they go.
Gibby, I want to ask you about this.
Do I believe in cruelty? No.
But what do you feel was, one, their big strength, but also something else that they need to work on to really get into that grand final and potentially even more?
Yeah, the key word there is won. They won that game. It wasn't given to them. I think their biggest strength is their ability.
Does Asparagus get picked up for SI? I don't think Hot and Cold's team has gotten picked up, so I don't know why they would.
Because of the fact that you could argue that they play on the fly. They don't really have set plays that they're going to go for every single time.
Yeah, JJ Blad's team sucks though. Their scrim team.
They will face is that map build, right? I said before the game, I think Club Cafe are 2 of their strongest maps. Chalet to me is their Achilles heel, and that's a map that if you're going to win a couple of best of 3s, you're going to play on Chalet. So they'll need to spend whatever's left of today trying to get scrims and trying to do whatever prep they can do for those other maps, because they're in with a chance. You're still in the upper bracket. You have a chance of making SI.
Absolutely, absolutely.
See, like, he played it so bad.
And speaking of game,
I don't know if it would have mattered, but
kind of pull up those stats and kind of see how things went down in this matchup, because we're talking about kind of highlight players that had their own plays, and it's not just about playing it in the moment and having like one round that was incredible, beautiful to see, but how consistent you are throughout that whole game. And even in a game where Asparagus in this case are winning off of how kind of being Mavericks, basically. They're constantly able to chain plays. They're able to win rounds off of that.
How did E4 go yesterday? I don't know. I didn't stream it.
Consistency. Who fills that role, if any, with it?
I mean, the consistency is a difficult thing to find for, I think, both these teams going into it. This is actually a really tough one, because what we saw from this was, I mean, can I pass this on to Gibby, I think?
Go ahead.
I can't think of the words for it. I have to put the pressure on Gibby.
I feel for ITB, I don't think they're going to be worried, right? I think that this was, a lot of the time you'll see in these upper bracket matchups where it's a clear favorite taking on an underdog, that the favorite will lose, because they kind of going into it going, I'm not worried about the lower bracket. Yes, they want to stay in the upper bracket, but they're not going to be worried. The only thing that could worry them is the fact that if G2 do lose the next matchup, you're playing the only other tier 1 team in it, the only other team with a very strong map pool, which will make it very difficult.
You don't think they're worried that they're in the losers bracket first round after getting 2-0'd by a team called Asparagus?
Statistically driven team, but as Whippet and I said a little bit earlier, the eye test,
I think they're probably a little worried.
And looking at the underlying numbers, and the eye test in that game told me they were a little bit too rigid. They were too structured. And I'm disappointed, because a team like that usually are very good at adjusting on the fly. And I expect to see a lot more adjustment out of them in their next game.
Whippet, you've had a minute?
I think ITB have walked themselves into trouble here, actually, a little bit going into this now. They've, I think, showed that they've had a fantastic run getting to this day. And now you're going to look at either Matchcore G2. We'll have time to look at this after their matchup, which is next. And they're going to see a lot of weaknesses, and they're going to maybe be able to steer things towards those map bans. If we see a Cafe played against them, it's going to be very scary, because ITB, I think, showed their weakness to direct play, and I think that's a theme for both these matchups. We saw Asparagus play very direct, very in your face. On defense, Asparagus stopped the entryway. ITB have showed that there are cracks in this, and again, it's a new roster, so of course they're going to be there, but they've showed a lot more than they have until this moment. So they've stormed away through here. Citizen looked fantastic to get here, and now all of a sudden, you're not getting aces in your opening round. You're struggling to fight and get wins against Creeds, and who is an exceptional player. But Citizen was a little bit quieter than I would have wanted from this, and ITB reset time for the rest of the lower bracket.
Absolutely. Well, I would like to have a chat with our victors from Asparagus, so let's bring up Packbull. Hello, Packbull. Congratulations on the win. First of all, my friend, it's been a while. 2, how you been doing? Congrats on the win. How you feeling?
Thank you, Milosh. I'm very good. Good to talk to you again. It's been a...
Is there audio delay, or am I crazy?
I mean, it looks like it. Now, please walk.
There's audio delay, right?
Team and the composition of
It's
what
tripping me out.
Here to the LCQs in the first place.
Well, I got told on pretty short notice. I don't think it was anyone's fault, but on pretty short notice that I would be not playing with Wild for SI QUALS. I think I had about a week to find a new team, and Asparagus happened to be looking for one, so it fit in pretty well. So getting through the open QUALS was, I'll be honest, like a little bit of luck, I think. We had like a few close games, like I think 8-7 against Fnatic. If that went the other way, obviously we wouldn't be here. So open QUALS was a little bit of luck to get through, but since then we've been all individually working pretty hard, pretty hard to get up to this level. And I think at this point there's no more luck involved. It's just we've been working hard. We're all good players on level, or better than a lot of the other players in these QUALS, and we know we can win these games.
I mean, clearly in game number 1, that was absolutely the case. Now, Cafe Dostoevsky, it wasn't... Actually, at the end of that 7-1, both Gibby and Whippet here at my side were saying, you know what, we're not surprised that Asparagus won 7-1. What would you attribute that sort of landslide victory on a map like Cafe to for your team?
I'll be honest, like, Cafe, you know, is a map we like, you know, it's maybe not the best map in the world. I think a lot of people maybe dislike a little bit. But,
G2
we're fine
playing Siege today. We'll see. Are they going to lose to Mako 3 times in a row?
Because we don't know what
I'd hope not.
You know, they're a new team, but on M80, it was a permaban basically for M80. On ITB, it was a permaban for ITB, and you know, Citizen coming in and IGLing for the ITB lineup, it makes sense that they wouldn't be good on it basically. So I think it was mostly that they were probably underestimating us on it. They probably thought like, whatever, even if they pick our permaban, we can still do good. But I don't think they would make that mistake again.
Clearly, there's a lot of truth in that here. Now, going on to Border, it was a lot closer. I feel like this is the kind of the map where ITB on the other side could kind of refocus and get back into it. What drove you over the line for that 7-5 victory?
Well, looking at the map bans again from their previous teams, we knew that they would pick Border, or we really thought they would pick Border, because again, like on both M80 and ITB, it was a really favored map for them. So we knew that they would want to pick some Border. So, I mean, to keep it simple, we just prepped Border for this match. There's nothing else really to it. We just knew we'd play Border, and we prepped to counter them.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, of course, there's been that question of, you know, the team kind of being put together.
Over under 6.5 years, Jerry sells the team. I don't think he'll sell them.
How does that shape up?
I don't think the Joneses will ever sell them, to be honest.
Machiko or G2 on
that you might have an over under 6.5 years. How much longer Jerry Jones lives? He's like 90.
No, honestly,
yeah, ITB lost 2-0 Copper.
Like, no idea who could win that game. Like, I think it's a complete 50-50. Obviously, G2 more experience, but I'll be honest, I know the Machiko guys really well. And,
I'm putting up predictions for map 1 of G2 and Mako.
To win more than more than you think is possible. So I think maybe just based off pure passion, I hope.
Predictions are for map 1 there.
But, yeah, we're happy playing either.
I think regardless, that Machiko G2 is not going to be just fun to watch, but I think it's going to be fun to watch on Twitter, the downfall before and after it, as kind of we've come to expect. Anyways, Packbull, thank you so much. Congratulations.
You need to go all in like 100 times. There might be another sponsorship at some point for Jersey. We'll see. Maybe not till after SI. I have a couple of offers to do one for like Monopoly Go or Roblox. But I haven't really looked too much into them to see what Trick offers.
Nah, just hopefully.
Sorry.
It's always good news when I'm talking to you. But apart from that, just thank you to everyone watching. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Packbull.
Oh, if you win, you don't have to play twice today, huh? That makes sense, I guess.
For making it forward here in the upper bracket. And it was a pleasure to watch, and I can't wait to see what happens. Tomorrow,
it's because of seeding, Willie. It just worked out that way with the seeding.
Again, I mean, that was beautiful to see. Here's our summary. Here's what we got.
Sloth a solid 6-17, 1-6 on entry. Beast. He was going sicko mode. Rexen 2.0, 26-9. Rexen really doesn't want to see Citizen make SI. That's all I'm saying.
Thing is, you got to reset completely. You got to forget this game happened, and now you're just playing single life. Pretend this is a single elimination bracket at this point for ITB going into it. And I think they need to look at what went wrong, maybe change some roles around, or just even have a better warm-up or something. There's a million and one factors this team can do to reevaluate things. Of course, Rando Sando, a new coach coming in, is going to look at this game and be able to dissect it with help from the assistant of Kulibara. This is a massive moment for them to show their value of support staff and this team to show that they got a lot of hard.
The seeding to the like playoffs, yeah, Willie.
A lot of work to do to be to the level that we all expect them to be, and I think, I mean, the MVP rolling. I'll let Gibby talk about this one, but this was superb.
Yeah. So over the course of the last year, I've watched a little bit of T2 stuff and some of the events that were going on, and I'd heard whispers about Rexen and how good this player is. I saw a little bit of him when he was on Honved, you know, was one of the old teams he was playing on. He's phenomenal. And I think that it's really important that a big thing about broadcasting is to put people over, to, you know, to build up someone's story. We didn't even need to do that for Rexen today. He wrote the script all by himself. It's one of the best performances I have seen on an individual basis in a qualifier in a long, long time. And
why is this text all weird? What the fuck?
And And I feel like that.
What is with the text?
will
It's
spread
like cut
confidence
off.
throughout all of Asparagus into tomorrow's
Fix
game.
the
So
graphic,
they're going
brother.
to
What
be
the fuck is that?
really, really difficult for any team to play against.
And of course, that is Rexun, not Rexen. Two completely different players. Just so we're clear, one is in North America, one is in EU. You talk about kind of tier 2. For me, tier 2 EU is where, well, all three of us actually kind of grew up and got to where we are over the years, and even tier 2 and way below that, even over the years up until today. So this is one thing that EU has always had as a strength, and I'm very happy that in 2025 we're going to get that back with Challenger League and all. I cannot wait to see what teams have to offer and what new talent we have finally, that we can grow once more in Europe. Because if this is the next generation, also players like Rexen, I think we're going to have a blast, to say the least. But with that said, our first game of today is done and dusted. We still have more to go. Happy days, right? It's 2 more best of 3s. We'll take a quick break, or at least as long as needed. When we get back, Machiko.
Is anybody else scared for Mako and G2? Is anybody wacko for Mako, or are you poo-poo for G2? Be honest. Are you wacko for Mako, or are you poo-poo for G2? You're wacko for Mako? When they played in... Wait, where was it? G2 lost to them 2-1 maps here. And then they played them again here, and they lost 2-0 maps again. This one apparently didn't really matter. It was just for seeding. But this one did matter, and if you look, it wasn't close after map 1. It was 7-2, 7-2, so we'll see, I guess. SI starts pretty soon. How much time do we have? 5 minutes. What's Element looking like? SSG Academy against LG. And then, oops. I think Core 1 and then Cruelty 1. I don't think they're streamed Hateful. I'm pretty sure it's off stream. They gotta rig it, you know. Brios experienced internet issues that stopped him from playing after round 8 on map 2. LIS played the rest of the match with 4 players. How do I feel about TSG? I haven't really been watching. I haven't really watched E4, to be honest. I think Wildcard probably smoke Cruelty. This will be an interesting game, though, I think. Am I a wrist player or an arm player? Probably a bit of both, but more wrist, I'd say. But I don't really play that much. Yeah, gunner and diffuser and MAD. Scary team. I don't know if I'd say scary is the word I would pick, but I think it's better than their last team. What's up, Coy? What city is that? No way, it's Boston. I think it's EU locations because it's EU. Oh yeah, Gibson.
By the way, that footage is 100% doctored. I can't believe it. Anyways, hello, welcome back to the show. It's 6 Invitational LCQ.
28. What is 1800?
SI 2025. Our focus is on the Europe, Middle East, North Africa region. Of course, all that's left is our European teams. Incredible.
28.
First game has landed, and I'm just gonna give you like a little spoiler warning here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and a Asparagus able to take down into the breach and move on
28.
to the bracket final. Beautiful. We got to have a chat with Packbull. There's ITB will
There it is.
survive in this fight as this is a double elimination bracket. You only go down to the lower bracket semifinal and then kind of try to win it out from there and make it back into the final. That'll be for tomorrow. Let's see who will be in that spot. But as always, here's our schedule for today. Bit of a reminder, we can run the bracket whatever you feel like here just to kind of get things back into your mind, because up next is yet another best of
Not too bad, Gibson. How are you doing, dude?
Versus G2 Esports. And I don't know if there's any G2 fans here and there. Make yourself known or not. I know you've been hiding under carpets over the past few months. Let's be very honest. There it is. 2-0. Asparagus versus ITB. Machko will be playing against G2, and not only do I personally expect a lot of fire in this game itself, but
Are you not doing the rest of the games for today?
On Twitter afterwards, as it is not unusual to have some smack talk here and there, especially with the history of these two squads individually. Speaking of individually, I am not here individually for this matchup.
I am
1 BO3 today and 2 BO3 tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Like this, so I'm just happy to be here for the ride. That's all. I'm trying to just
breathe, breathe. We'll get there.
You're gonna have a lot of fun with the champion. I guarantee you. We have 2 people from Scotland in this matchup that are involved in one way or another. There we go, forever, as they say. But let's take a look at our map band.
Streambeats.net.
The game's about to begin. It's about to
Streambeats.
not long from now, and we have our first 4 bands.
I'm trying to find copyright-free music.
And then a border. Grace, can you take us through the rest?
Absolutely. Again, for me personally, the chalet pick from Matchco makes perfect sense. It is a very, very good map for them. They're currently 14-3 on it. So it is a nice little safety net for them, especially when you are going against a big dog like G2. G2 going to Lighthaven, however, is a little bit spicy for me. I'm like, okay, clearly they're cooking something here. They've only played it once in
What the hell?
roster, and they did actually lose it, but maybe they feel very confident, they've worked on it, and they're ready to take Matchco there and show them something special. Again, it's the kind of map, however, where things are very quickly, depending on the way the operator plans. This is the map where you really need that additional dimension of pressure. A nice little map selection. I am slightly disappointed we're not going to see layout.
Bangers only, dude.
Try to avoid like the absolute plague, but G2 have decided to show a little bit of secret spice on it, and I wanted to. I just felt like that would be a nice way to start Saturday. To be fair for me, but of course, yes, they are going to go.
To Chalet, the first match of the day for myself, and they're taking away Deimos. No surprises there for that ban, increasing his presence, increasing his ban rate. I'm not really surprised to see him go, Grace. I'm so excited to go into Chalet. How are you feeling?
I'm stoked, to be fair. Again, the classic kind of best of 3 situation we see at the moment is kind of a Chalet, the Consulate, the club vibe. Starting with a Chalet is a very safe bet for Matchco, as I touched on the desk. They are 14-3 on it. That basically makes it, in theory, they're playing ground, but again, this is G2. These are the big dogs themselves. They've had some pretty hit and miss results when it comes to Chalet themselves, and of course, like ever, I really do think it's going to come down to how these operator picks go. Of course, the bans coming out, the Brava being banned out, the Deimos, that's a lot of information ripped from the hands of the attackers. G2 starting on the attack, and I know a lot of people are going to sit there, Sham, and be like, oh, you know, attacker-sided map, it's Chalet, blah, blah, blah. I really do think it depends on these bans a lot of the time. Again, banning out things like the Deimos and the Brava do give you a little bit more wiggle room on the defense, especially if you do want to go for something a bit more extended and you want to go for something a bit more lurky, a bit more ratty. Certainly, I think Matchco do have the capabilities to do that. They're taking double trap to start things off, though, along with those Banshees, and when you wombo combo those, that you're basically denying an immediate presence when it comes to that final site collapse. Maybe expecting G2 to force things here or go a little bit aggro. I think that's a really safe bit of thinking, because G2, again, it's G2, Sham. Of course they're going to go aggro. And even speaking of which, the Blackbeard is making a presence.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I was watching them last weekend for G2. They played each other twice on this map. They've been here before. We've seen it. It's been done. And spoiler, if you didn't watch it, Matchco won it twice. The second time, G2 were much better. They went to overtime, 8-7, so they were much better. But the first one, they just looked completely lost. And they ran that striker and that Blackbeard combo the entire time, and it just didn't work for them. But the second time, it did. They got there, but, you know, around kind of difference. So it's a mixed bag. Can they finally get over that mountain of actually beating Matchco on this map? We'll certainly find out in just a few seconds. And like you highlighted, we have Blackbeard. Doki loves running it, and Lawyer loves running the striker. Doesn't surprise me to see this kind of start here. And early pressure just on that bathroom window just to get us up and running in this round.
I'm back.
very, very stoked to see how Matchco hold onto this. Again, not really being too flexible and moving too much. Loira is able to capitalize on that. Again, when you remain static, it does allow you to be immediately swung once they get that info. Aqui's there, though, dealing with Elendo. That's a great little clap back at least. But there we go, Blaz deals with Aqui.
Just like that, a 2 versus 4 scenario, diffuser going down courtesy of Uno, and it's going to be very difficult to get back. But Gemini buries Doki, just dropping that shot a little bit too early. Fortunately, he's removed from the round. But
G2 masterclass.
Grace, and it's not looking too good for the defense here on Matchco. 1 versus 3 for Gemini to try and do something. Hops out the window.
Gemini Cricket.
Exactly where they need to hold him off. I presume they'll just wait at the top of this staircase, and it will be like lambs to the slaughter. And that is exactly what happens. Uno finishes the round, and G2 starts off with a round in their pocket.
This could just be because it's round number 1, but it feels already like maybe Matchco are getting a little bit in their heads with the idea of, okay, let's go safety first with this. Let's be a little bit static. Let's just hold some positions. I think that certainly can work. It can allow you to play around the util. Again, they took the Banshees, they took the traps. That does imply that they're going to slow down.
They're getting in their heads. We're 1 round in, and they are chalked.
When it comes to taking these gunfights.
We're 1 round in, and they're just lost. They can't believe it. They lost a Chalet defense round 1. This shit's done.
May have expected them to. Again, they are a team that play really well around those trades.
Somebody call the ambulance, but not for Mako.
A little bit from round 1. Getting a bit feisty, as expected, Sham, as expected.
Exactly, there was no surprise there. We were speedrunning through the bracket and the schedule today. We're going very, very fast. We were straight into the game, and I've got a chance to actually chat about the lineup and stuff. I was going to highlight Loira before the game.
Yeah, you see
sees the Doki, of course, he's been there for a while.
You see one too many silly picks in prep, and you're just gone.
A long time, especially last weekend.
Yeah, G2 have the same coach.
He's kind of finding the gap and making things happen, opening up the round was really, really well done. And proved it first round, right off the bat. Gets the 2-piece. Lovely stuff.
And downstairs now. G2 going to bring the sends out. Again, there have been some changes to sends where you can have a bit more control over that wall going up and down. So you can go for a bit of a pre-placement if you need to and pull up that wall when the final collapse comes in, when you want to really force that plant down. Let's see if they are able to use it. This is a lovely way to use it, actually rolling it all the way down through that.
What is cameraman's role on G2? He's like assistant coach.
Especially if people, 9 times out of 10, you open up that office
and he's like the bullpen just in case Uno starts getting shit on. They bring him out the bullpen like the closer.
To try and counter off what Matchco been bringing. That pressure here on that balcony. The shield is now dropped off. No one playing on that for the time being. Still all 10 members of the server up standing, but it looks as though it could be in with an engagement and caught out there. Teb just not quite ready for Uno to turn the corner into Master. And now they have control of that top floor. Doki as well will find another. It's Gemini to fall, and that's a very early 2-piece yet again from G2.
And yet again, Matchco really failing to be able to get these trades back in their pockets.
Uno playing Thermite to do a solar take is insane. I respect that.
Never been known for being the most drone-heavy team, though. So again, using that spec IO might be a bit tricky. Can help you to try and find that plant when it goes down, but you're not going to be able to really find much info from droning because G2, they're stuck in now, opening up these walls. Dora does deal with Blazvo, who sends walls can't come up. That's a great little shutdown.
I think they've always had 3 coaches, Kevin.
A vertical angle here, just waiting for someone to float into.
They've got an offensive and defensive coordinator over there on M80.
If they decide to move, no, just waiting for someone to come down that staircase, and you can see Lolo trying to take some of that ground back because they know they have to try and fight some of this vertical play. Dora, though, will at least deal with Doki, so they do get the reward for waiting on that backside, waiting for someone to come down the staircase. Aki as well will find one Loira to fall.
What'd you miss? Nothing. ITB won 2 or lost 2-0 if you weren't watching that, but this match just started.
Up and kicking for Matchco as Aki has to try and do it all, has to try and pull this one back, pull for the clutch, but it's going to be a tall task versus Alamal and Uno. But for now, at least they're going for the defuse, so we could get isolation on this, and they do have the yellow ping and the information here, Grace.
It's very awkward back, we've been not aware of potentially Alamo being outside now, the full rotation. This is why that verticality upstairs can really benefit you when it comes to denying the plant. Unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time. Hopefully so. Aqui taking his time with it, not wanting to do something too hasty. Especially when you've got the likes of Uno and Alamo on the board.
Ooh,
they're sitting pretty. They're having a great time right now. They just have to wait for those audio cues to come in, and then they can push and try and deal with him. There we go. Beautiful pinch coming out there from the lads of G2.
Very, very beautiful. G2, they're looking more comfortable than previous times of asking on this map versus Matchco. Looking a much better start. 2 rounds to the positive. Just lost a member for now, so we will pause for just a second to get them back in. But Grace, what's your opinion? What do you think went wrong in that round there for
looking
Matchco?
better so far for G2?
Again, it's just losing those bodies early and then the trades not being there. It looks like they are attempting to, but they're just getting outgunned at the start, and I think that's a bit of a shame, really. Again, especially given how far they've come thus far. Okay, it is only map number 1, and it is a best of 3, but this is their map pick.
Why did the observer just go, okay?
As you've touched on, they had a great time previously versus G2 during these qualifiers.
They did.
And don't get it twisted as well. Remember, Gemini, Lolo, they've been here before.
Uno's playing Thermite for the gun.
Peel everyone's memories back to SI 2021 when they were in the Makers roster, and that was a little bit of a charming kind of fairy tale run, so to speak. And I think for those lads in particular, it'll be a lovely thing to try and get going again. At the same time, you are against the big doggy dogs of G2, and that's where things can get a little bit more complex. These are very tried and tested veteran players. These are very tried and tested world champions.
Does Tambourine have a mullet? Because if so, respect.
To ask for them, you know, can you do it again? Can you qualify for SI in this new roster? Which, again, the brilliant thing about this Matchco roster is the fact that they now have this full Italian stack again. A lot of these players, they went to different orgs, they went to different places, Sham, and now they're back in a full Italian-speaking roster. That does massive, massive, massive bits when it comes down to communication and mid-round shot calling, and it's something that I
Are you twerking?
A few times Lolo did it, a few times Aki did
with
it
a
last
T.
week, and I think that's where they need to kind of try and find that. You've seen it a few times, you've seen them try to retake, and this is what I kind of noticed.
If I'm not twerking, I'm not working.
Was really good versus G2 last week, especially on border, on Chalet as well was a really big highlight for them. And I think that's where they're trying to play the same as what they did last week, and it's not quite coming off, but that's because G2 seem to be firing all cylinders. So if they could just get up to that, it could be a banger.
They are trying to contest against this sudden, again, from the get-go, like I touched on, the Banshees, the EDDs, you put those together,
Correct.
it gives you that slowdown where people can't just go fast and furious and get in your face and get bullshit, which again is something we do expect you to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's not be around the bush of that. Especially when they get onto that defense, that's going to start to get a little bit spicy and a little bit freakish, to be honest. But you have to take that kind of kit. You have to take that kit that slows down the approach. But even when it does come to that, we're seeing a bit more creativity with G2 when it comes to actually being like, hey, we take the top floor, we open up, we can just shut down their lines of sight and bring out that set, for example, round number 2. It's just having a lot more adaptability and flexibility with the kit that are breaking this. It's quite especially on this line of season, like I said. Sometimes I love it where it's like you can get like the old school scene where you're doing really structure just to get details. And I do think that G2 themselves, they know that if they can keep that advantage in terms of time out from the get-go, it's going to benefit them. So they're looking at just getting those entries, and I think what we may see, if Matchco do start trading back these entries a bit more, that's when we might see a bit more of a sudden change in pace from G2. But it's an uncomfortable one right now for Matchco. It is uncomfortable, and again, I really don't want people to kind of be sat there thinking, well, it's G2 and G2 are amazing and blah 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 blah, because yes, G2 are, in my opinion, one of the best teams in Europe. You know, the best team in Europe. Bias, but I really do rate G2. But I do find that, you know, Matchco are a team that really.
Thoughts on the new song Tweaker?
Sparkly twinklies back in my belly.
Hell yeah, dude, that song's fucking lit.
Because of how classical it seemed, how fluid everything seemed.
Isn't that the song that sounds like it's from like Nelly from like the early 2000s? I think I've heard that.
I want to see them go back to kind of what they do best, which is play together beautifully as a full Italian stack that can fully communicate with each other. And again, don't be static when it comes to these initial moments, because
I saw
catching them off guard,
that guy did like a hit and run on ESPN, yeah, or not on ESPN, on Twitter.
Matchco aren't willing to take these engagements as much as they are trying to just defend them, and that's not a great place for them to be, I don't think.
Yeah, we spoke about this actually just recently, actually, just about the way the Matchco. For me, there was a few moments where I kind of felt during the week, of course, like by the way, they've been playing pretty much every night. Matchco, they've been beat for beat, just playing constantly, and this is where they kind of have that, like you highlighted the fact that they're full Italian and you know, shot calls, stuff like that, but they have been playing beat for beat a long time for the last few months, whereas G2 they had that kind of off part after during Christmas, just because visas and stuff like that, so they couldn't actually practice properly, so they're actually in a bit more kind of better position in terms of as a team. But when it comes to them, they're kind of mental. This is where I have a little bit of a worry for them, because like you say, they're a little bit shy sometimes. Not quite want to take that 1v1, not quite want to take that fight, because I mean, as G2 is staring you in the face, I wouldn't want to be in the other end of that gunfight. And I've seen that a few times just throughout the week. There was a couple of points just against ENCE and Fnatic last week as well, where Matchco could have been a bit more aggressive and they just were a bit reserved, and it felt like it was like a bit more like, this is a T1 player, don't want to quite go for it, and that's what I want to see them kind of get over that. And because they can frag, and they
Did
can,
Maka rage quit? Yeah. They couldn't take it anymore. They just left. They said, fuck this.
Excellent. And you know, bracket. Speaking of bracket, Sham, to be fair, like again, it's the idea that even if this goes horribly wrong for them, again, we are only a few rounds into map number 1, so let's not be hasty.
We'll just.
But like, if this does not go great, if G2 do win this best of 3, they're still not out yet. They get to go up against ITB, who have just had a massive upset against Asparagus. I think we can quite clearly call that an upset, definitely. Although Rexon, in my opinion, is the Lysan Alhib. So it will be an interesting thing to see Matchco potentially go against ITB in that lower bracket. That'll be quite a freaky and spicy one, I reckon. But again, it's not over just yet, regardless of how this first matchup goes. I just think it's a nice little moment to get the feelers out, shall we say, for Matchco. G2 themselves, they don't really want to be in the swamp, shall we say, of the lower bracket. And I did kind of expect them to.
What the hell happened? They said all they said was this guy had an FPS bug. What does that mean? His computer blew up? Like, why is this taking so long? What the hell?
We can always argue. It comes down to maybe they're saving things, but you know, that old chestnut.
Well,
realistically, I think
they're
it's
playing
just-
Nighthaven. They're playing Nighthaven, so and they've played it once the whole time they've been as a roster. So they've clearly been like, you know what, we just need to throw all of it out today. Doesn't matter about saving stuff. Let's just jump onto Nighthaven and see if we can catch someone out. So there's no, I don't think there's any saving strats today. Maybe last week, but definitely not today.
I do kind of feel like I really wonder how things are going to end up being on that side switch for me as well. Like, I think that's the really big thing. There's a lot that can be considered in terms of like expectations of Doki and the lads jumping out of windows here, there, and everywhere. And I think realistically, if you're Matchco right now, maybe you're using this as an opportunity to be a bit more adaptable. Maybe you're using this as an opportunity to be like, okay, can we keep kind of that same level that we've been bringing throughout the entire qualifiers? Because
You
we
might,
actually
Wiz.
spoke about this as well.
How long has this been? It's been like 10 minutes.
Concerned about the fact that maybe Matchco had brought the whole hog to actually get to this point. There was massive concerns about that. Massive concerns that they would maybe potentially put too many pennies down when perhaps we don't really want them to do that just yet because they need to save this weekend. There is always that possibility as well.
Yeah, I'm just buzzing to get back in the game. I'm vibrating my energy right now, Grace. I'm just ready to go. That's something just like get me in the game, like just ready to go. I'm so excited.
But it is like again, like
Well, there's
this
just
is
not a
how I
lot they
felt
can talk about. They've
all
only played
week.
2
It was like,
rounds.
okay, this is
What, they're
going
gonna talk about 2 rounds for like 20
20
minutes?
I think in particular for Europe, right? Consider how the T2 tournaments do not have T1 teams anymore, but then we have qualifiers like this where you really start to see the levels of some of these T2 teams where they can contest.
Oh, I heard
these
it.
T1 teams.
They're back in there.
We have seen that, Matchco making it this far, Asparagus making it this far. Granted, an upset has already happened today. An upset could still happen. Matchco could suddenly turn around now and absolutely wipe the floor with G2. I don't think that's too outside of the realms of possibility for us all. Granted, it is G2 and they are very spicy.
That's true. Also,
We're at a really interesting state of things in Europe in particular, where both teams in multiple tiers can actually win.
Yeah, this is the good thing about Europe, and this is the good thing about today. I mean, we've just seen it. Asparagus, they've just defeated ITB, and they look comfortable as well. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be a close game. ITB maybe would peg them at it, but no, they look pretty comfortable, and this is what EU's the best siege. This is why we love doing it. That's what I think, and we'll throw that straight out there. And I'm so excited to get back into the actual game. We now have returned and heading back into 2-0 up for G2. Of course, kills have been reset. Had a lot of rehost in the background, so we'll have to track that another way. But for the starting point, we're going into bar and gaming. Grace, what are we thinking about this one?
Looks like Matchco are going to try and play it very, very standard, to be honest. They are bringing out the castle barricades. And I'm very
When you're GM, did you ever get offers to work the desk? Not beyond like when I did the guest analyst stuff.
Getting Gagro in Mudroom, but there's a castle barricade there. Again, Matchco expecting this sudden aggressive push from G2, so that's really well read from Matchco. Certainly, in particular, the fact that they were expecting these aggressive moments. 3-2-1 with the shields as well. The Blitz and Blackbeard.
Asparagus 1-2-0 AP.
Yes, there have been changes.
Oh.
It's still incredibly ferocious. Look at the
That was ambitious.
There to trade it back immediately. He isn't going down anytime soon. Can he deny this plan though? The kick is being stuck. He defends pressure from the window. Gets Stokie in mud, but the trade is there. Akwi dealing with Uno as Gemini will fall a 2 versus 2.
No, there's a losers bracket auxiliary.
Finds us on a 2 versus 2, like you highlighted.
This is like an impossible 2v2 to lose. Bomb planted out the window, it's basically impossible to lose unless you're just horrible.
To make their move. We have a player upstairs at least as well that can at least try and take some of that ground back.
But Blaz is horrible, so never underestimate him. They actually lost a window plant. That is impressive work by G2 to lose that. What was Blaz doing? Why did Blaz start running out the window?
And again, especially given they knew G2 were going to come in hot and heavy.
Blaz was feeling a little silly there, I guess. Just started yeeting it at the window, dude.
The Blackbeard, the Blitz. What can you do in that situation? You just gotta try and win your ones. Try and find that right little pixel angle. Try and melee that shield. It's difficult to do, especially if you do have a bit of distance between you. It was a really nice attempt at shutting down.
Jinxed it. I mean, dude, it's literally, it's next to impossible to lose that. No, I didn't, Patriots. One sec, I gotta plug this charger thing in.
Sometimes, this is the main thing, champ. Sometimes you do just have to yeet yourself out of a window.
Sometimes you just have to go. You just have to
hope for the best. Time it together with your teammate, and again, it's something that Matchco, I think, have done so perfectly in the last few months. Is the way that they play with the team. Okay, we'll do this now. 3, 2, 1, go. We're going at the same time. You can only deal with one player, one angle at once. 1, 1, 1.
Exactly.
Goodness me, that was an incredible postman.
It was an incredible postman. I highlighted it just at the start. I was expecting, well, not at the start, kind of on the little break there, that the retake potential from Matchco was absolutely phenomenal last week. I was kind of hoping that they could start to chain a few of those together. We've just seen one there, amazing stuff. That's 3 plants in a row from G2, and they've just been hammering that case down onto the floor. I imagine they'll continue to keep going for that. They just need to make sure that they don't let Matchco slip the net in a couple of these, and I'm just glad that Matchco have just got in the faces of them. That's what I wanted to see. That's what we talked about. That little teeny tiny break there is maybe just the mental kind of rest, feel into the game a little bit, and I'm excited for the rest of this.
You two are so fun to watch.
We've got to see the
yeah, they're a real treat, as I've heard people say before. Patriots, thank you for the 37 months. Xanax, thank you for the 55 months. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I'm just excited that now Arch Manning gets to play instead of Ewers. Ewers is ass.
Yeah.
Doki, safety first. He's aware not only is that an audio cue, it gives the intention that someone's going to come in hot and heavy. He was ready and waiting for it, but he hears Bagoo. He knows Akwi's just around the corner. Deals with him swiftly.
Unfortunate there, just not quite aiming right at the right height that needed to be. Opening pick yet again going into G2's favor.
The hell?
And another
what is that guy doing?
Blaz will find Dora getting a bit more aggressive.
These Mako guys seem like they're freaking out. I don't know if I'm wacko for Mako. They look like they're losing their shit.
3 versus 5 though, Grace. Halfway through the round, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling that certainly Matchco may be feeling a bit of pressure. Ooh, that's not ideal. Gemini getting caught off guard by the Nomad. There we go. Pressure makes things crack. Pressure starts to form frictions in the concrete defenses that Matchco could have brought there. Sometimes you're like up against a wall. I've got to scrap my way out of it. Fine, I'll try a little run.
Looking a little rough here.
Jabs were there, however.
Should be 4-0.
So things start to spiral away, spiral out of control. A really unfortunate end there for Matchco. But G2, good utility placement. It's taking it slow and steady. Going through the motions of the map now. Not really trying to get too aggressive. I think they themselves have realized, okay, Matchco are certainly trying to counter us in that regard. Let's just go through the motions. Let's be like water. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. That is exactly how they're playing.
Yeah, he's going to be on Disrupt Gaming.
3 versus 1 on the score now. Opening kills going every single round to G2. So I think Matchco really need to start countering off those a little bit better, playing off the trades, potentially trying to find a little bit more of a foothold in these rounds. But we head back down to kitchen yet again, which is not the one they won. They won on bar, so slightly different area for them. Quite a bit of a spread as well, top floor. We'll see, of course, what they decide to bring, and G2 just refusing to move off the striker. They just love bringing it. They love a little bit of IQ action as well. And we'll loose out on the office balcony just to alert some players should they come that area, and of course they have the bandit as well. And El Clasico on Shelly.
We're constantly going to see people taking the striker. It's so much bang for your buck. Think about the different combinations you can do in terms of kill. Thinking about Doki holding first, goodness me.
Oh.
Leto is there to do with Gemini though. G2 keeping a hold of things, keeping on top of their game, keeping in terms of the player count very much in control, especially now.
SI starts February 3rd. AP.
Mats will still be out and about. It's still something for G2 to worry about, but Usually seeing that frost gives you an inkling of, okay, let's mind
So
our
pretty
tootsies,
soon
mind our
here,
feetsies.
couple weeks.
And this is the gorgeous beauty of taking that IQ. You don't have to get in the building. You can scan that utility from the external, feed that info to your teammates, and they can react accordingly. Especially a team like G2. They'll be able to assess based on that util where these positionings may be, where these players may be. Before getting opened up above, as I've touched on before, it allows you to have that longer line of sight all the way into bedroom.
I did see Nosferatu, yeah.
To kind of cut off any pressure the match code can bring back, but they don't really need it because Loira, he's there dealing with things. Lolo, Akwi, 2 versus 4. 1 above, 1 below. Lolo playing around that hatch. Akwi up close and personal. This is where things can get a little bit dicey for them, though, especially if G2 decides to go for that penny drop moment. Get a bit aggro. There we go. Lolo deals with that aggression coming out from Loira, pushing up piano. Nando is there with the trade. Awkward stuff indeed. Akwi, tiniest bit of health, deals with
I thought it was weird, is how I would put it.
G2, another clean.
I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I wouldn't say I thought it was good either. I just thought it was weird.
They still held on to that top 4 for some length of time. They had it all the way almost to the end, and it was really working for Match Go up there, even though despite having the man disadvantage. But sometimes it's just too much. Alamau with an absolute heat.
Well, I knew going into it that Nosferatu is Dracula, basically.
Now I'm starting to get a teeny tiny bit worried for Match Go.
Well, rightfully so. They've called that timeout.
Why the fuck would they replace the onside kick? That's stupid.
Too late, but this is where they have to kind of have a little bit of a natter. If they can at least end on a 2-4 split, they can maybe pull things back on the attack. Remember, Blitz is up, Blackbeard's up.
Yeah.
All of kit you can bring to establish a bit of breathing room from the get-go. Beauty of Chalet is that is very, very small as a map. You're in the fire from the get-go, but that ironically is something G2 have done pretty well, especially in that last round. Gaining all the information they needed on that external, they didn't really bother trying to throw their bodies towards the opposition because that's where maybe you win the gun.
I read that when they originally were thinking of the movie that they wanted Daniel Day-Lewis to play Nosferatu. That would have been crazy.
Bar and Gaming is where we head, which is the only other site that has been won for Match Go. So that's a positive in their bank. Of course, right off the back of getting the first opening pick of the game as well. So there are some positives to take away, Grace. It's not completely away from us. You know, the timeout, as you highlighted, a little natter. Maybe they can try and figure out where their issues are. G2 not changing much though.
I like the kickoff changes. I haven't really watched much of the NFL. I can't lie.
You know, they move things around either side of that, but it's pretty much going to be the same idea. Let's just get in their faces, get aggressive, play like G2 play.
I want to see the Brutalist.
Absolutely, and once again, Max Crow going with the idea.
Seems like that movie is going to be the big Oscar movie this year.
DDs of the Capcan will take these castle barricades. Will again slow down that approach as much as possible. Rely on G2 having to use utility to get close to us, and that will also give us the audio cue and the information needed to react appropriately.
Early take here from G2, just trying to put some pressure on the library player. It is indeed Tev that's been doomed in that position. Suicide corner, as it isn't normally called, because you play your life and normally you're ready to die, but they'll find a kill. At least it's Blaz who has fallen first.
Yeah, at least it's just Blaz.
Great start here. Second opening pick for
At least it was just Blaz. Anybody else would be a problem.
Not quite as aggressive and quite feeling the pressure as much as they have in previous time, but just as the words leave my mouth of cursed Akwi to a death that no one wants to experience, it's Loira, the demon himself. He's trying to
G2 are shitting on these guys.
These rounds, and it's a double, another one.
They're not ready for the aggression.
I'm getting a little bit scared now. Oh well, I'll just be quiet.
You're no falling. That evens things up a little bit somewhat, doesn't it, Sham?
That castle barricade sucks.
Kostoki, the menace.
No, I mean, I get the strap, but they have to have somebody blue. They had nobody blue.
C4 in the pocket of Dora as well. This is the potential of some Verti action. That Verti can work both ways, remember.
Can indeed.
But right now, Loira needs to start getting it stuck in a little bit more. Potentially start to establish some vertical pressure of their own. So a lot of aggression is occurring On the side G2, willing to find some of these lurking players. Gemini, beautiful pick there, shuts down Doki. This kind of splits up G2 significantly now. You got Loira all the way upstairs. Elemno in basement, never mind. Gemini deals with him as well. The refrag was attempted, but it's shut down. And now Loira's in a 1 versus 3. Has to try and find these players. Limited information to go off.
Has to pull off the ace for the clutch. Already found the double inside the round. Just trying to check these angles, make sure they cover everything. Don't have much to work with, don't have any drones to work with in their pocket that they can use.
Finds one, almost a second, but it's not going to be enough as Matchco, they finally find that second round. The same site, the second time of Baskin, they double up 4-2 now on the half.
And that's ideal, really.
Now, can Mako attack and bring it back?
They wanted that 4-2 minimum. I think
Or are we no longer wacko for Mako?
In brackets, a less favorable half. You do want to have at least.
It's crazy that R6 is on Prize Picks. I feel like betting on football is a lot easier than R6. Under overkills on 2 maps is only metric. I have no idea. I haven't looked at any of that stuff. Are these games on Prize Picks? Like the qual games or no?
As much as I wanted to on this defense, though, themselves, they really just had a plan from the get-go and kind of stuck with it. Apart from that beautiful post plant we saw.
What is it? Uno over under 2 kills.
But again, for Matchco, they're now going onto a side where I really do think they play it beautifully. The way that they can kind of reposition themselves and go for something alternative. My main concern is that G2.
Is it first 1 to 2 maps, or it probably says? I assume it's just 1, 2. I would assume it's just 2 maps because you can't guarantee there's a third map.
That Matchco would assume G2 are probably going to come swinging out of here, there, and everywhere. We need to be prepared and ready for that. So if it gets to the point where G2 from the get-go do start swinging themselves out of here, there, and everywhere. Fair enough, and we'll see if Matchco can deal with it. If not, it means that G2 are kind of behaving themselves somewhat, at least initially.
Yeah. Only 2 claymores.
How is it?
Matchco, so
how would that be rigged?
Can be stopped from the run-outs.
You know what you're picking against when you do it.
Doki was absolutely loving that during the week. Actually, to be fair, all of G2 were loving it.
Blaz negative. Blaz's prize pick was 1.5. Him and Uno both had 1.5.
Down, lurking in
2 maps, 1.5.
On the Melusi, just waiting for someone to be caught sleeping at the top of this staircase, and he's just gonna check and make sure they are checking their angles and checking their positioning. No one's really want to go for it though. No one's going to go for that position inside of garage. So Alamo is just allowed to exist here. It will be an area that they will have to take at some point, such as the nature of this site. Minute gone though, and not all that much kind of movement really happening on either side. Really, just the drones kind of setting it. So it seems really like they're kind of just feeling this one out, Grace.
I think that's a safe bet right now.
I have no idea, Willie. I've never played Prize Picks. I've never played it on any sport. What is Element 4? It's like a NA Tier 2 league. It's like Challenger League tournament.
Let's just hold back a bit, get that info we need.
Yeah, Cyrus, you can only run esports skins for the most part.
That's a furious approach here by
Oh, good aim.
Beautiful stuff. Uno, Blast going large. 3 versus 2 now. The plant is going down. Can G2 deny it? Again, this has been a very swift, fast and furious execute coming out from Matchco. Gemini gets one down to Uno, but Blast is there. The post plant has been established. But look at the positions of Matchco outside, waiting for this run out, waiting for this attempt at clawing back things in their favor. They know he's there. Didn't deal with him though. They're playing this very patiently themselves, not willing to wait until the very last second to go for these swings.
Ooh.
There we go.
Oh.
Chaos. Pistol whip to the face. Can he stick it? Lolo waiting so patiently. This is where the timing really is key.
Oh.
The drop down, a bit of a spray and pray just to try and bait. Beautiful stuff there. Blast going to stick it.
Yeah, I've never
really solidly played post plant coming out from.
I've never done any Prize Pick stuff.
To just kind of feel like okay, we're just gonna have to go for this plan.
I haven't looked at it. I feel like the odds would. I feel like the odds are favorable probably because it's all props.
The way that they play these attacks have been so gorgeous for like.
So you're just betting parlays, but I doubt you're getting the same odds that you would if you just bet the parlay in general.
Yes, a little bit bullshit from the get-go, trying to get stuck in and go for like.
But maybe it's the same. I don't know.
Immediate entry point, but you have to.
Yeah.
Look at this, beautiful stuff, Teb. He's just fair. Dealing with that first one, as soon as you've dealt with that pressure, the rest of G2 have to then be mindful. Okay, this collapse is coming in hot and heavy.
Is star team? What is star Lou?
It creates a bit of a safety blanket for you to get in, stick that plant down. A bit of an oversight upstairs, realistically, I'd say.
Bomb located by attackers.
It's 3 times now. They've won bar.
Mr. B. Yeah, they are. They play OXG tonight.
Master. It seems as though they're starting to find a bit more of the groove after that timeout, looking a bit better. And looking as though they're starting to lay quite a few punches on G2. Now though, kitchen dining, something slightly different. Got the Cade, got the Tuberal, which is a classic combo for G2 currently.
No, I don't know if that's true, Willie, because most of the time you're not.
Usually when she's up.
I mean, you're not guaranteed a third map.
You do love that Cade Tuberal combination. The DMR in the hands of Alamo is absolutely lethal. Keep an eye on that one for this round.
For R6, you pick any player playing, and they give a predetermined number, and you just choose over or under.
Library and Solar as well, just to make them aware that
So you just go
from, but it looks as though Library will indeed be
Uno under, Blaz over, because Blaz will stat pad, and Uno will be dead every round.
Well, so already looking
Easy.
For nasty angles to deal with the approach from Matchko. No, not really caring too much. Look how bullshit he's playing. It's a very open space to play around. That just shows a confidence of G2. They know they have the skills to pay the bills, and they're willing to use it, opening up every single angle possible, and waiting for Matchko to do their slow and steady approach. This is where you have to keep an eye on the timer, though, Sham.
Yeah. You really do. The minute is already ticked by, and they have taken Library at least for now. The Tuberal comes through as well just to try and deal with that mirror window of pressure.
Uno under infinite money glitch.
Frozen, so that's what they're going to try and work on, just to protect this mirror, make sure they can still have this position, make sure Alamal can play it behind it using that DMR. But for now, Matchko really struggling to actually figure out what to do with this. They threw a few things at it, a couple of nades as well, but they're really struggling to root
This guy's never seen a Tuberal before.
To deny that reach at the same time. Look at this position here from Al. Shoots it, goes for the swing, almost punished for that aggression. Manages to fall back for now and continues to protect.
Alamo thought he was getting cheeky there. You see him? He shot it to try to run out the wall.
Alamal's still in this position, and he'll linger here forevermore.
What's up, Justin? How's it going? Good aim.
That window is opened up. There is a Habana pellet that opens it and makes sure that they can now get rid of Alamal, who's now downed and not quite dealt with. But he is at least not a thorn in.
Because every team has to have one finished player. That's the law.
It's not upstairs, it's downstairs, it's kitchen and dining.
No fin, no win.
Still Alamal's alive. I don't know how he still managed to exist.
That's on Doki.
So long, but he's still here.
I think he's just inconsistent. I think when Doki's playing well, he's really good. When he's not, he's not. Just inconsistent. He's always been kind of inconsistent, though, no?
Right behind the bomb chest, he feels a bit of pressure from above, has to come off it for a second, and Aki on the cover, but the C4 from Loira will finish off Dora, and they have to send another one in, they have to push in and get this plant down. There's only 4 seconds to go, someone's going to want to swing, but the backstab from behind is going to finish the round as G2, they take another round off Matchko, ran all the way to the end, and they looked comfortable though, dealing with it in the final seconds of that.
Getting closer and closer now to that final line. That match point is just at the tip of their fingers.
They're just too slow on that attack. Although, to be fair, if that guy would have not been reloading when his teammate, like that guy reloading right there, they get the bomb down there if he didn't run out of ammo, but he was just shooting at nothing and ran out of ammo.
Ultimately, really there, it just came down to the gunfights. As that plant was going down, G2 decided to get hot and heavy. bring the fire to shut things down on the side of Matchco. That's very good going indeed.
Well, those are based off of. If I had to guess, if you look up their KPR on like Siege GG for the stage, and then average that out over the rounds, it's probably close to their KPR towards whatever they feel like the score could be. So like, let's say they say like 7-4, 7-4. Okay, so 22 rounds. Bosco would have 22 rounds to get 14 kills, which is like what, 0.6 kills or 0.7? And if they think it could go further, like 24 rounds, so they're not like randomly making those numbers up. They're using data to make those, like, to put those numbers.
So if they play the waiting game, the patience game could be.
What do you mean, Maverick? I think this is a really impressive roster. You have Blaz and other guys.
He'll come off that angle, Teb.
Cameraman's the assistant coach, Maverick.
Do like that from them now as well. Trying to find someone slightly off guard.
Listen,
there.
I had to experience firsthand at the major how good G2 are. They're scary. I think they should keep this team forever. They're close. They just need more time together. They're really close to being something special. Trust me. They should keep this group. Keep working it. Keep working at it. Eventually, Blaz is going to get it. And when he does, it's a rip for everyone else.
For someone to make a move. The question is, who's it going to be? We know G2 tend to get a little bit antsy, tend to like to swing things and move things around. But now, they're showing that patience, just waiting. What's the full minute? It's going to go by without anyone really moving. Line scan goes out. Alumal, though, will be the first one to move. It'll be Dora that falls and immediately refragged from Aki. Let's say that G2 would be the first one to try, usually move. They get a bit antsy. But look at the patience here from Blaz as he waits on this window for someone just to float past. But for now, no one's going to.
Have you ever talked about what you would do if not Siege? I would do something in esports.
Here for the info. Speaking of info, G2 get it and they get their Uno, beautiful C4 down to Gemini, but
all of a sudden it's a 1v2, about to be match point, or sorry, map point for G2.
On both sides. Lolo, 1 versus 2. Can he do it? He sees one of these players is lurking around the corner. Ooh. That is a Doki. He's going to hightail it out of there. Can he find...
Oh, bad aim.
Tags up Doki significantly.
How does he not get that kill, shitter? Take your gun out, dumbass. What the
players deal with them again. Diffuser in no man's land. He has to go for these picks. He has to get aggro, but Blaz in the prone position. He gets it, secures it, and ultimately Sham secure that match point.
G2 are looking deadly. This might be the best G2 we've ever seen, and that includes the Fabian version of when he coached and when he played. This might be the one for them.
His life probably should have been dead in that situation, but manages to move past it and get himself further into the round. Blaz closes it out, just lying in wait, just ready to snatch that round from them. And G2, they've looked like a massive improvement from what we've seen last weekend on them. Chalet against Matchco, they're looking so.
In 8 years, Maverick, would you say this is the best team G2 have had since you've been a fan?
I know that they have. I know they have it deep inside them. I know that they can do this. I know that they can get up to the speed that G2 are. But G2 just blowing them out of the water at this moment in time, and it's looking like their pick could be going to G2. And I'm concerned if that does happen, we go into Nighthaven.
All this LCQ grind to go out 2-14 against Shopify.
It could go really either way, but I'm expecting G2, considering
you wouldn't get it.
Considering it is their most banned map. I'm not going to be surprised if they got something cooking on that. But for now, we're still here. We're still in Chalet.
We're just talking about the players. We're not even counting the fact that they have one of the greatest coaches Siege has ever seen.
let the pressure of match point get to them or not. Again, like I've touched on, they're a really good team on the attack when it comes to reestablishing.
Do you think seating arrangements matter?
Those mid-round shot calls that they can do
very rarely,
to go for a different
but they
approach. If
could.
anything isn't working, they'll just reposition and go for something else. And
It was the coach, Ramallo.
it's the stability, I suppose, and the resilience
The GOAT.
as you're playing out these rounds that we really want to see from Matchco to bring it to that overtime. But G2, it is G2 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they almost seem inevitable at this point.
Yeah, G2 are inevitable. I agree with that. G2,
not quite aware of
this team is inevitable.
Elsewhere, though,
They're like
Polar
Thanos.
Teb, who also finds Blaz, so 4 apiece now, and they have exact information on this. Get the flashbang out there as they push up the staircase, and it looks as though Uno actually might have been able to escape this situation somehow, despite the pressure coming from the window at the same time. And Uno gets all the way.
I
back,
didn't
goes all
sleep
the
for a
way
while,
to the
Jay, I'll
office,
be
and
honest.
join the rest of their team there. So slightly missed opportunity there for Matchco, not quite capitalising on that information that they had through Grace.
Gemini on the approach, sees the pixel, attempts to fire, no one giving too much body away just yet. Very slow approach.
Asparagus 1-2-0 against
Looks
Into the
like Matchco
Breach.
Yet again, slow and steady wins the race. It's going to force G2 back. Which is at least a good sign for Matchco. Gives them a bit of breathing room behind them. They go through the motions, but again, time is of the essence. You don't want to leave it too late.
Yeah.
Do you think it's very, very spicy that Uno is holding on to Library in such a position? It could lure Matchco into a false sense of security. In these final moments, Gemini, C4 to the face, gorgeous stuff indeed.
P&D is better, not me.
Pulls him right out the round, right over the top there.
You know why Citizen left for ITB? He got benched.
He's still inside of Library. Could be about to be undone from this window unless they check, unless someone doesn't check it. Yeah,
What the fuck is Uno doing?
He doesn't get away with another one this time. He is found and buried. There isn't anyone in the corner though for them to worry about, so now they have the control of Library, but there is only 30 seconds to work with. They have 3 members upstanding for both side Grace. It's looking like it's going to be a spicy end of round.
Time is of the essence, less than 20 seconds.
I thought that was a good play.
Toxic Babe
I saw the vision.
As well, still has one there, has used one. That's going to slow down the approach from Matchco even more. Dora trying to get stuck in is tagged up significantly by all this util. Pandemonium across the server right now. A 1 versus 1. Doki gets it, and G2 win map number 1.
G2 take map 1, and that was their map pick.
They certainly do.
They looked absolutely indomitable. They are wonderful stuff from G2. They win it comfortably. Matchco just not quite at the races for that one.
Putting up predictions for map 2, which is G2's map pick. I believe it's Labs. No, it was Lair. I think it's Lair.
Had a chance to speak about it. Cameraman snuck into this team in the back end just during the week there that was announced. Just literally 1 day ago. Maybe that's the difference.
What do I think of the new M80 roster? We scrimmed them a few times. I think they're solid. I think they're better. They're definitely better than the previous M80.
Yeah, genuinely what tends to happen. But I think the real thing there for Matchco, little bit worrisome, Sham. They, in general, tend to be a very resilient team as these rounds play out. It very much wasn't there. It felt like from the get-go on those defenses, they're allowing themselves to be caught out very statically, very static positioning, not willing to move.
Scrims are always hard to tell, though, because, like, the 2 best teams we've scrimmed are teams that I would say people don't even consider that good. I'm going to go to the restroom real quick for a bit.
You know, if someone drones you out, it's like, okay, I can either get up and try and run away, or I can allow myself to be naded out. Of course, when you get up and try and run away, they're ready and waiting for you. So again, for Matchco, there's some very dodgy positionings on the defense, getting caught off guard. And ultimately, again, I really do think a big factor there was ultimately just losing gunfights, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I spoke about it at the start of the match. I did kind of think that their mental might be a little bit tested, and had shown flashes of that being an issue during the week and kind of last weekend. But I was kind of hoping that they would manage to recover from that match to get themselves up in a better position against G2. They have beat them before. They beat them twice before, and they beat them relatively comfortable in the first game. The second game was a bit closer. We can't look into it too much, but so this time they're not really at the races though. And Grace, I just hope they can turn up for Nighthaven. I'm hoping that they've got something. I'm praying for it.
I really hope so too. We are going to have a quick little break though. Let's see how things go in Lighthaven in a very short few moments. We will be right back.
There's one more EU match today, and then NA starts at 5 Eastern. So I'll probably end the stream between then, and I should be live. Oh, hold on, there's a little sound.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My, Paris looks beautiful in that footage, and so do
What's up,
all of our
Gotron?
wonderful European
Trev, thank you for the
capitals.
19 months, man. Appreciate it.
Through this footage in the background, it's also
If you're the GM of G2 and it's been this long with this roster, I know you blew up the Slub and Gonfi easily team, but rebuilding 5. I don't know if Doki is worth building around or not. Diabetic, thank you for the 29 months. I think Alamau is their best player by far, but I also think that I think he's a bad teammate, but he's by far their best player, so I don't know. You kind of need somebody else to come in to be the leader. Like, I don't think Almau should be the leader of the team. They have to have somebody else be the leader of the team.
Seeing them playing in LCQs to qualify.
What's up,
for
Kusa?
SI, then of course I'm gonna have a few things to say, but honestly, nothing more than praise for Map 1, Grace.
Absolutely. Again, I really do think they did a good job of just winning their ones, essentially. I do think a lot of the rounds just came down to the gunfights not really going in the favor of Matchco. I think Matchco from the get-go themselves were a bit concerned about how these gunfights were going to go, which is why they tried to play more around that util. However, it put them to a very static play on the defense, which G2 then just were able to capitalize off. It was very awkward to watch at times. Matchco not really bringing the full power we've seen throughout the entirety of winter now. Just looking a bit lost at first, to be honest. Again, maybe because they were trying to be a bit too passive, a bit too defensive, where they should have kind of upped the ante and taken some of these gunfights.
That was the first map.
Beautiful moments.
G2 looked better on the first map for sure.
Was really lovely to see, just wiggling around the basement, clearing up shop, but ultimately it wasn't enough to get them the win. And again, it's on their map pick, and that's where you really have to kind of have that little sharp inhale of like, ooh, that's gotta hurt, that's gotta smart. Going onto a map like Nighthaven next in particular, you know, that is a heavily defender-sided map. Matchco will be starting on the defense, but they themselves, again, don't be static. Learn from the lessons of this match, learn from what was going wrong in this matchup. And maybe you can try and swing things back in your favor.
How do you do that for a map like our second coming up in a bit here, Champ? Because you don't want to get smash code throughout this whole game.
Yeah.
Right? You actually want to be present on the map. And that was not really the case on Chalet. I understand it's not an easy map to play around when you have an opponent that can really lock you down into power positions and take control of them. But Magical have a lot of experience, right? We've seen these players and this team out there. Sure, maybe not as much as G2, but we should be expecting more. How do we help them show up? At least if you're somehow now coaching the Magical team.
Yeah, if I'm coaching them, I'm reminding them to remember that Loira exists. I highlighted him just at the kind of start of the match. I was like, yeah, he's been an underrated player for them for a while. You expect your Alamals, you expect your Dokis and your Blazzies to hit off every single time. But just looking at the stats there, you see Loira 14-7. I knew that he was going to be well. I knew that he was going to be a top fragger. I knew he was going to be there because people just kind of forget and just kind of let him sneak in somewhere, hit the doubles and early on. I think that is where Matchco really need to kind of remember that it's not just Almal, it's not just Doki that can hit these shots. The rest of the team can do them as every single point of G2's attack.
People telling you Stompin will go pro is insane. I could see him being pro. He's only 17.
And actually, let's pull up that map band one more time just to kind of give everybody a overview of how things went.
He just has to practice on computer.
Next, and
But I could see him being
G2's
pro
pick.
personally.
We're expecting maybe to see Lair, but that got knocked out much earlier in the bans here, and I believe that was Machiko that took it out. There it is. That was the third ban in this series, but still happy days in many ways. Not just because we're getting Nighthaven, but it's also DNX's fake birthday today. Thank you, chat, for keeping that up. But what do you do on Nighthaven? Because when we did the map bans before map 1, Grace, you specifically were saying, oh, maybe there's something that can come out of it here for G2 that's a bit unexpected. What do you mean by that now that we're on the cusp of map 2?
So again, a really important factor with Nighthaven, especially if you're starting on the attacks, in my opinion, is to leave the shields open, especially given that we have just had the Blackbeard rework, which is absolutely a gorgeous piece of kit to establish very aggressive control on one dimension.
So I think G2 closes it out here. I'm pretty sure Labs has been like a permaban of G2, so I'm interested to see them play it. I don't recall seeing G2 play Labs in a long time, if ever.
Very quickly, very swiftly, and it can't just be one-dimensional. You can't just tunnel in on one approach, or you just are going to be like sitting.
Are we good or what? What's going on? Chad, is it me or the stream? F? Okay, so it's not me. Good. Stream's down. I have to wait a sec. Should come back up any second, though, hopefully.
You just are going to be like sitting down.
Oh. Alrighty. Oh, we're back.
Hey, who knows? Maybe
okay.
Get the
Gear prediction if you haven't
also
yet.
Get a bandit that is confused of how to. Actually, no, a bandit that's very good at tricking a wall with an attacking team, confused how to deal with it. That's flashbacks from Montreal.
Just kidding.
Actually, we say that a server hosting error here means that we have to rehost this matchup and just get all started. Hi, yeah, we're back again. We can continue on with the chat. So, Chem, please, what can we see here for Machiko to show up? There has to be something that they can show. They got so far into the qualifiers, right? You can't just bow out like this in game 1.
Yeah, they leaned on the retakes last week, and I just want to see them work a bit more. The rounds that they won on the defense was based on that. They managed to retake the space that they'd lost, managed to slip the net, sneak in, get a couple of ones, get a couple of twos, kind of exist in these positions that weren't quite checked by G2, and that's where they just need to get back to. They need to get back to, I would say basics, but it's not basics for really. It's basics for their standards of what they've already established last week. So I just want them to kind of repeat that. And let's get back in. Remember, G2 leave gaps. They leave gaps. Just let's try and find them. Try and thread the needle, and let's try and get.
Any chance of Fabian Super SI co-stream? I have no idea. I mean, we both will probably be busy unless we just have like an off day or something. But
I mean,
I wouldn't get my hopes up.
This one here in the past is not the first time that we've seen him so deep into qualifiers against top tier teams. But I'm wondering, is it maybe the stress of playing against such a big name on the other side, or did in general G2 get into their heads in one way or another, either in the lobby or on Twitter or something like that? You have to think about the psychological aspect of.
Yeah, is Alamau tweeting them, getting in their head?
It gives us a lot of space to just make stuff up, right, Grace?
Alamau's tweeting the shit out of them, dude. Fuck. I knew
always
it.
talk about the psychological aspect of things. I think that was something I was worried about in the earlier qualifiers. It was, did Matchco kind of throw all their coins down? Did they send all of their energy into those qualifiers and those initial matchups with G2? And now they may be falling flat a bit because they're like, oh, well, we have to go for something different.
Yeah, it's in his
Really
contract,
aggressive here. We
Maverick.
have to be very static and passive here. I don't think that is the right approach at all. I think they need to up the ante themselves, and it's something we have seen them do previously this winter. As Sham just touched on, the retake potential of Matchco, their ability to go for these incredible shot calls is very fluid and clear before us whenever we watch them play. And I really do think it's going to come down to, again, the operator bans, the utility that they choose to play around, especially on that defense, because 9 times out of 10, if you go for a double shield ban, you are going to have an incredible time on these defenses. That's what I want to see Matchco do. Just be like, okay, yes, fair enough, at some point we will have to be on the attack and we could utilize those shields ourselves, but maybe we want to be a little bit safety first. If we can get to like that 6-0, you know, the biggest prayer in the world, yes, but it is possible, it can happen. You then just have to get it over the line. However, G2 do have the stamina to get that full comeback. We have seen them shown time and time again that they have that kind of stamina. I really do think that the best thing for Matchco here on the defense, not only when it comes to denying the utility from the attackers, is also playing around things that deny the fast and furious approach from G2. It's something we did see them do quite well on Chalet, but they weren't able to win the gunfights when G2 did find those gaps. Taking things, you know, like the Banshees, for example, layering up Banshees with trap utility, bringing something like the Mute, the Mozzie, things like that. Well, I say probably not the Mute and the Mozzie, to be honest, because G2 don't really play around information as much as people think they do. They really just don't bother. They face check a lot, to be honest, and they predict where people are going to be a lot as well. I do think that for Matchco, it is going to come down to just slowing down these swings, especially consider the layout of Nighthaven, these tight little corners that you have to contest against when you are on the attack. Yes, you can open up external, you've still got to have that additional angle, which has these tiny, horrible angles that someone can just be sat behind with a shotgun. If you at least have a bit of some aggressive utility to allow you to capitalize there, that can help you as well.
I mean, I just want to see big fights around basically the blue area, the staircase, fish, whatever you want to call it at this point. It's definitely a spot that I guess gets underappreciated by attackers, and when it is, we get a bit more action out of it. But my friends, please take it away. Map number 2, Matchco versus G2.
Thank you once again, Milosh, for your presence and deep insight into the game. I love it. I absolutely love hearing Milosh's voice in my ear on a broadcast. It's wonderful. I've never worked with him before, and I've been enjoying every single second of it. And just like this
wow,
game,
that is crazy, Glaze.
We're on Nighthaven. We've not quite
get a grip, Blazinator.
At the very least, and it's from G2.
Do you think there should be face cams for SI quals? I think it's region by region what they require. Like NA might require them to have cams, because I know in Pro League you were required to have your cam.
On the external, but even you can use the EMPs on the externals to clear utility again,
Vigil.
tight little corners I mentioned just now.
I'm kind of interested to see this because I'm fairly certain. Let's check real quick, actually.
Given what we've seen from them with the Boss G action, but for Matchco right now, this puts them in a very interesting place because G2, they still have that Blackbeard. They are also
haven't played labs in a long time, and they got smoked on it.
Those very aggressive shield operators, which again, when it comes to establishing the second prong of that fork attack you want to take, that could be a bit of a danger zone for Matchco, and it'll be interesting to see.
It certainly will. Top floor is where we head to, and I am excited to see how this.
They haven't played. The last time they won labs was against Ents.
Like what Milosh had highlighted, that is a very massive contingent and a really strenuous point in the map. We don't have a smoke or anything playing on it. We've opted for the Goyo instead, in the form of coming in the hands of Aki, and we're setting that one up on there. A little bit of an extension as well towards the other side from Gemini. No surprises on this kind of a standard-ish setup, I would say.
I think it's going to be really dangerous right now because, say, for example, you open up that external.
Maybe Mako don't play labs. Is the only This is
It's a
why I could
electrical
see them
push
letting
with
it through.
shield. It's easy peasy squeezy
Or
lemons,
picking it. They
unless
picked
you
it, not just let it
like a
through.
Banshee or
So maybe
the
Mako
Vulcans
don't
there to
play it.
slow down the approach as well. You can shoot out those canisters, and the fire across the floor will allow a bit of breathing space, but you still got to deal with the fact that
Damn, that
shield
was
busts
crazy
big on the
math
floor
work there,
We'll
dude.
see what happens though. Again, I'm just kind of doom predicting, I suppose, but
Don't protect. Hey, we'll bring back. We'll get the positivity going. I'm sure Magical can work with something here. Very early pressure at the top of that staircase now, though. A couple of nades go in, or well, one nade goes in to deal with that. Goyle canister walls also already opened up into connector. So now very early establishment here from G2. In terms of getting into the actual map and getting things started and moving the shield in the hands of Uno this time. It's quite surprising. Usually it's oh, see, usually it's on Doki, but he's on Blackbeard anyway, so he's usually on a shield operator. And from now, since the rework, it's usually been Blackbeard. And here though, just holding his head of electrical, you've got the two Goyo canisters right next to Aki, who can try and delay as much time as possible, but it is going to be difficult here. Tries to land a few shots onto Uno and will take them right down, and will be able to finish them as well. Uno not quite ready for
W
it.
Blitz.
Aki gets a free swing onto him with no contest, no one there for the refrag, and that's one of the shield operators gone very early on.
that's incredible work as well from Aqui.
Oh, shit on.
Just being able to rely on those throwables to deal with it. The Vulcan does deal with Elemno as well. The barbecue action coming out from Machko's Blast will fall. Laura now left in a
They
one
probably
versus
figure with
five.
Mav up, there's no
Be a
point,
force
Sully,
to get
would be
things
my
started
guess.
For Machko, wouldn't that be a sight to behold?
Which, to be fair,
Laris is holding onto
if
an
that's
angle,
their
maybe
actual line of
predictably
thinking,
expecting
why
Machko
ban
to get
Thatcher
cheeky,
then?
but
Shouldn't they
that's
ban
not the way
Mav?
Machko
Look,
tends
what
to
are they
play
doing
these
with the
moments. They
Thatcher
don't
ban if they're
tend
not
to
running any
really
denial?
to these gunfights when they have such an advantage. I'll just wait for you to come to them. There we go. The flawless
Uno
get
on
things
Blitz is
started. The
insane.
start we
Listen,
love to see.
Uno's got to be able to
For
play
G2,
something.
they're gonna be feeling
What, he
it.
just
You
can't
look
play
at
any
City.
ops? Uno on Blitz is insane. Uno on Breach is insane. Uno is like, he's got to be able to play something. What do you mean? He just can't play anything at all? Like,
Opponents, and sometimes that can be their undoing. Most of the time, there is a gunfight that goes their way, but in that particular instance, there was no one there ready for the refrag onto Uno. You lose one of your shield operators, and then your attack starts to disintegrate from there. And that's the difficult thing about these. When you bring these shield ops, when you lose one of them,
y'all are
you
too hard
lose
on
your focal
Uno,
point
man.
of
I
attack.
think they
It'd be
should
very
keep
difficult
him
to try and cover
forever.
that. Machko, they play that perfectly.
I
They
think
sit in
he's
their
nasty,
positions,
and I think if
mentality,
you don't think
from
he's
the early
nasty,
in the last
you
map,
don't know
they
ball
should
like
understand
I
it.
do.
In that instance, sometimes it's actually just
'Cause I
quite
would-
happy to do it, quite happy to wait
I
until
wouldn't
goals
pick
and
up
go.
Uno, but
Wait
I
for
would
someone to
support
go
a
until
team that
much
brought
more
Uno
start
to
to
every
this map.
event.
Yeah, they
So
do
I
have that
think he's,
amazing shield
I
approach.
think he's
It's
great for
massive
them.
them, and it is something that is going to become a really important factor as these rounds progress. Now they're heading all the way down to the basement. We are going to see the Ram start to come out, make an appearance. Again, it's the safest way to establish vertical pressure.
Like, Uno would never be on my team, but I think he's good for other teams. For sure.
Try and break open those floorboards. 9 times out of 10, a C4 can appear below you, and that's you ripped from the server. Nowadays, you just throw in those buggies, it'll rip open those floorboards. And it's so much control without you even really having to get stuck in above. That's what G2 are hoping to do. And again, these additional angles of entry. Presumably, they will try and get the walls open downstairs as well. The aggression can start to trickle through from Uno and Doki.
Oh, he's just
They
in
knock down
there.
The Blackbeard in combination is quite a disgusting sight to behold, especially if you imagine the pinch potential there as a duo entry.
Loira just continues on absolute heater. in terms of
Why would he
form.
never be on our team? He's too good for us.
Cargo. That's the Echo gone. That's the castle gone.
We wouldn't
There's
want to
War.
embarrass his
Start
legacy.
things off and getting a little bit of revenge after that first round that was flawless. So gets the first kill on Nighthaven. Just around the corner though, Loira has to wait. There is a player around there. There's indeed Aki on the Frost. Who
What the
pepper out some
fuck?
shots, turns their back for a second and is lucky not to lose their life off the back of it. Loira thinking about pushing ahead and getting more action, taking more lives. But for now, we'll just hold back just a second and linger and hold that angle into that rotate. Wait.
Do you guys think Uno or Ambi has better movement?
Top of that staircase.
I already know the answer to this.
Aqui trying to get back to go for a bit of backup here, but G2 already establishing a lot of presence, a lot of control. looking to get stuck in and start to work around getting in for this execute.
Oh.
Akwi, he will fall. Again,
All right, I don't mean to roast the caster, but the caster going, oh, every time somebody gets a kill, like, that's not casting. Like, imagine if you were watching the NFL and every time somebody throws a touchdown pass, Tony Romo just goes, oh.
Much better from G2 there. That's just kind of what we
Every time somebody completes a pass, Romo just goes, oh.
That they had, looking a lot better, isolating these gunfights and making sure they can deal with them. And you mentioned it in the last map. You mentioned that it just looked like they were just winning their ones better, and that's exactly how we start the round. It's just a straight up 1v1 just between Gemini and Loira comes out on top, and then from there the round really starts to bleed out. And that is what has been the antithesis of G2 today. That's what they've been doing so well. And I was just like, they need to keep that going. And Matchco, they need to assess this, I think, and really just stop and think, right, let's just be confident in the ones, be confident in the gunfights, not turn our back. Seen Aki running away from that gunfight. He's turning his back. He knows exactly where Loira is, and he's just like, I'm going to step back for a second. I get the hesitancy, I get it, but I think that we need to see a bit more oomph from them, Grace, I think.
Oomph potentially about to come out from G2 with those Yings. Hinted. Oh, I was curious to see if we'd see a bit more info coming out, and they are going to switch off the Blackbeard onto the IQ. Again, get the information on the external, position yourselves accordingly. Do with anything you need to. I mean,
yeah, Asparagus beat them 2-0. So the loser of this is going to have to play them. Oh.
Ooh, getting stuck in, but Lolo's there to defend it. Shut down as Alemno will fall to the ground. And no trade to be established from G2. That's a great opener now for Matchco.
Yep, and deals with the blitz as well. So that's one of the focal points of that attack dealt with and gone, and doesn't have to worry about it as much. They don't have another shield as well, which is surprising for them. They like to go for the double shield, and it's not there on this side. And is this just thinking about getting a little bit cheeky there, Tev? He thinks better of it. Thought about going out that barricade and potentially going for a challenge, but instead decides not to. Just pulls back for now. And just thinks, yeah, let's just wait, and let's just leave that to the shield that we've got here on this sentry. Speaking of the shield is dealt with and gone and destroyed, so they have that position now. G2, they can push up a little bit more, but they have to wait for the flames to dissipate. A little bit of a cheeky hold behind this desk here. I think it's Teb that's just holding and waiting and trying to play G2 at their own game. They know they like to lurk and wait.
No, it says it's kind of confusing, Master, but it has their logo because they picked it.
For now,
not that they won, but it is confusing.
Because Uno's actually planning, they don't need to do anything. Still inside the site, and the defuse actually goes
Bob down 5v3 retake.
Aki though will at least find Uno, but we are in a post AP, as you would say, and up comes this
5v2 retake.
Contention. Gemini will find Blaz. It's a 4 versus 2 scenario. Doki and Loira have to try and link together. They have 30 seconds to burn. That's all they have to do. One will find a down on the back stairs at the same time, and Loira will manage to.
Oh my God! 1v1. Oh, Doki's not ADS.
And it's going to be a retake from Matchco as Dora sneaks in at the back end and finishes off the round. They'll go 2-1 up to take the lead in this series for the first time.
There we have it. Matchco doing bits on this defense, albeit Sham. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. It is a heavily
silly little Uno
defender-sided map.
I'm just excited. Okay, I'm just excited.
It's so, again, difficult for the attack to establish some initial pressure and control. And that is why G2 are taking the kind of picks that they're taking. It's why we're seeing these sudden approaches, these sudden jump-ins by the blitz, these sudden attempts at pinch pressure in such an aggressive fashion. But Matchco finally able to win out a lot more of these gunfights. I think they've shaken off the kind of cobweb, so to speak, from map number 1. Sure. Starting to feel themselves a little bit. And remember, this is a team that communicates as well as the best of them, to be honest, together. We've seen that so much this winter. Really do hope for the world for them but it is.
Yeah, who
G2.
are the partner
G2
teams
should
for
find
EU?
out
I
here
can't
in
remember.
ferocity themselves.
BDS,
Yeah,
Fnatic.
probably will. I imagine as they tend to do. I don't think I'll be surprised at that. I think we're going to see some Blackbeard action coming as well, dropping off the Demos.
G2,
on the
Falcons.
side, heading back up
Who's
to
the last one?
top
Is it
four,
secret?
Which they have pretty well last time. Won that one out.
Or is it not announced?
Sorry. Yeah, won that one out. Yeah, talking in circles here. Yes, they did indeed win that one. Capcan as well.
It's secret? Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
On top of that staircase, it is very much similar hold to what we've seen the last time. Of course, just if you want a reminder, last time we had the push up on the Blitzen side of Connector, losing their live, and then the round unraveled.
Falcons are EU now. MENA EU is like all one region next year, Kusa. Same with like North America now includes Mexico as well.
I'll leave up a little bit of a backstab for Alimao on the knock, sneak past these cameras. And this could be potentially rewarded if this moves in elsewhere. We see a very quick 1-2 punch from Laura and then Lolo. For now, Alimao waiting for the call to hit the back as Blaz as well will find Aki, dropping a hatch from Lolo, who decides to get themselves out the dodge and go for a potential rotate. Looks as though they're going to head round to the garage side. For now,
Yeah, it's Mirage for NA.
Teb, Lolo, Dora. What they can do, what they can play around. And these ETDs should maybe out and about still, closer to the site.
I don't know.
Deals with Lemno. You're not quite clapping back just yet.
Oh, how can they not kill this guy? He's literally just sitting in a corner.
Beautiful work right now from
Jesus.
boy band. There we
Uno is ass. I mean, no. Uno is sick.
that's the position you like to be in. You know, back to
Uno
back
is a
with your
beast.
teammate there, both of them inside, playing for each other, and just hitting these shots on the SMG11. Absolutely beautiful there from Teb, and that round unravelled relatively early there for G2. It seems as though they can't quite find the formula.
That was
for
Beast
attacking
Coast
that one.
that
They tried
disbanded, not
backstab with
Cloud9.
The knock in the hands of Alimao. Yes, they did have the early kind of gunfights and stuff, but just kind of crumbled in the mid round there. Not the best attempt there from G2, but Magical looking very strong here on Nighthaven so far.
Dude, Uno was setting them up for the plays. They just weren't following them.
3-1 now, G2.
Are there any share skins that will be going away? If the Sonic skins haven't left the store yet, they will be very soon, I think.
Because I do like that. It does imply
I haven't checked to see what skins are still up there yet, though. I'm sorry.
We'll see what happens. Lots of opportunities to go for a cheeky little backstab or, again, catching people off guard when you're trying to establish that initial pressure.
Why do they pick this map? I mean, Labs
Like they're
is
going
defender sided, so it's not the end of the world if it's like 4-2. Obviously, they don't want 5-1.
More sensible option. Taking out
The SQ 20 and 21 skins are there, but the bundles are gone. That's weird.
Just to deal with those mirror windows as well is very, very important.
Yeah, for sure.
Also having the pads in pocket as
I
well.
wonder why that is.
On that Verti to establish more lines of sight as well. Load of bang for your buck there for Lemno to bring.
Yeah.
Especially when they are bringing the castle barricades too. So you got to be mindful of that. Feels like G2 have some idea of what this setup's looking like.
Again.
Oh! Uno just got shit on.
Uno, but the trade is there, Sham.
Certainly is, though. Downed and out. Finally finished off. Laura with a double again. I'm feeling really vindicated right now, Grace. I managed to highlight this guy beforehand. Laura has been so good today. Two-piece for him to start things off inside of this round, and that is exactly what they were after. Seems as though when they spread out through the map, Machko not quite able to deal with these 1v1 gunfights and whatnot. It's been a bit of a struggle for them so far on Even, despite the fact that they've been successful, I think.
Dora, sending a few things up in this mid-round. He's very curious to see. Again, Machko, a team who are very, very good at re-establishing positionings and hold as the round progresses. Akwi dealing with Loira, 3 versus 3. That's made it a lot more doable. Again, bringing it to this Even Stevens player count. Just got to be careful and play around what you have. Again, those mirror windows can be very, very useful when it comes to denying these pushes, especially solo pushes.
Yeah.
Nobody has more money than Falcons. It's not even close.
Loki just tries to float down that staircase, but he's forced back for the time being and gets a kill off the back of it. Presumably off that vert plate will be Aki to fall. Wallow still out on the roam, still on a journey. It will be caught. Just unfortunate. The timing there just happened to be someone watching as they were going past that rotate. They'll find themselves down, and they probably will be finished off just shortly. The Deimos as well, giving away the position of where Dora is, and they will just circle their prey. And presumably they'll finish them off, and that is exactly what happens. G2 Esports and Alimau.
If they get 3 attacks, they're definitely feeling good, I think.
Just and win that one out on Nighthaven. Finally managing to find a bit of a groove, I think.
This is looking very, very good right now for G2. Being able to get some of these rounds back in their favor. If they can end this on a 3-3 split, that's very nice going. Again, heavily defend-decided map, but Matchco, it is a bit of a playing field for them at times. They are 3-0 on it. It's not really had too much of a bad time in the most recent months playing on Nighthaven themselves. They feel quite comfortable on it. We've seen previously when they were playing it, it was very much the same vibe, just kind of holding on to the general flow of the map on the defense, and they themselves know how to approach it. Again, I really do love the way that Matchco attack. But for now, they have to secure this final defensive round. G2. I'm wondering what they're going to do. We didn't see the 0 hinted. I was like, oh, this feels a little bit interesting. Like, they're trying to gain more information. Again, G2, they're the kind of team where they'll just kind of get the feelers out a little bit, and they'll establish where you are based on where you're not, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It allows them to go for a very fast and furious approach 9 times out of 10 on the attack. They're being a bit more old school. No, however.
Big round here for Mako. They need a 4-2 half. I think your 3-3 labs, this is not good for you. And then is Into the Breach going to beat Mako, you think, if they play? Because Into the Breach looked horrible earlier.
We have to be mindful of. It's always going to be in the back of your mind as that round progresses, and the more places your mind is split apart around, the more opportunities for error.
IT Breach opened up relatively comfortable. Yes, there was a mirror window on it, but no one really interested in playing on it, and no denial on that wall. So it will be opened up. Now they can put pressure into IT in the top of rafters. There was a player at the top of that rafters, but they're gone now. They have now managed to get themselves out of the situation, but Alimau sneaks their way up. Look at the red pings coming through, the yellow pings as well. They have information. Alimau's going to get themselves all the way towards the warehouse, straight up the rafters. One, it's Dora to fall.
Oh, nobody knows he's here. Okay. Good patience. Yeah, I think this is looking like a G2 2-0. Unless Mako are just like unreasonably strong at attacking this map. Looking like a 2-0 for G2.
Lifeline for a split second, but it's all over. The aggression there from G2, what a round that is from them. The speed change, Grace. Yes, now I'm a little bit terrified.
Again, so many trades at the end, starting to look like the stock market out here. A free attacking split for G2.
Were G2 just trolling last weekend? Well, they said they didn't practice for like now don't ask me why, because it's stupid, but they didn't practice for like 2 weeks going into those quals.
Now they're going into this defensive half, this more sentry-focused half, shall we say. You allows yourself to batten that somewhat, allows you to go for a lot of freaky little moments of aggression if you want to as well. However, as we're starting on that top floor, it's like I say, you can open that external wall very, very, very quickly when it comes to the IT wall being opened. But you still have to have that additional dimension of pressure, especially around connector. Look at how these tight little angles work, especially when you're trying to make your way from connector, maybe get in towards the site. There's 2 different approaches to make, but they all involve these tight little angles where people can just sit there with shotguns. And it's not 9 times out of 10, if someone's got a shotgun and you're trying to swing that corner, you're not getting out of it alive. Let's be honest. It's often the shotgun is coming out of that with the favorable advantage, shall we say. So you do need to bring things like the shields. They're not bringing out the Blackbeard, they're bringing out the Blitz. I don't mind that because it does mean that they are going to try and capitalize on that flash utility of the shield, but The rest of it just seems like very much focused on, okay, what utility do we have to go up against and how do we clear it? They've got the IQ to give the overview of the idea from the external side of the map.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to hunting out these vault cams. Remember, those black eyes, they're so flexible in placement. They really can be hidden here, there, and everywhere. And it will feed so much information into the hands of G2 for them to react quickly to.
Uh-oh.
Germany opens things up. It's Loira
Azami first
been
pick.
involved in so many of the open engagements. This time they are on the receiving end. They are deleted from the round. That's the Azami gone. And with it, some of that utility as well that can be used later on in the round. Cheeky C4 prep, ready to go straight through that hole on IT. Opens up the mirror window as well. This is very interesting here, actually, for Muno. He's just going to wait in that position there. Well, no one will be really expecting someone to be there just because they've opened up that mirror and made sure that people think, yeah, no one's going to be in that corner, surely. So keep an eye on that one. But for now, just trying to figure out where they can find this gap. Match goes, they kind of feel things around the map, kind of trying to find an area to poke and prod at. This little connector could be the focus. It looks like they're just trying to make decisions here, Grace, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Again, this is the danger zone when it comes to Nighthaven, just trying to establish, okay, what do we have to go up against and what do we have to deal with it? Again, the tight angles, the tight corners, the nooks and crannies. Akri getting stuck in, though. Dodging and diving, ducking and weaving, trying to get in.
Hold on. Incredible Mako attack. Wait a minute.
Absolutely on fire this game thus far, may I add.
Yes.
LIS looked pretty bad yesterday, so you're not expecting much from them today. I've heard people say that they weren't running strats in Element because they didn't care about it, but I don't know if that's true or not. Because that'd be kind of weird for like a tier 2 team, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think even if they are, I think even if they're like running strats, OXG are still better, obviously, but.
Storage this time and changing things around. We're bringing a little bit of pulse action with them and the Scopus as well. You know what? I'm liking the Scopus play. I'm surprised to see it in the hands of Doki though.
I don't know if I like that as much as I am salivating at the mouth over it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Doki on something like the
Of course, we are covering breaking news right now. The Palisades fire, another fire breaking.
Should. We know how things go sometimes. Maybe he won't be able to do much with it. Maybe Matchko will find that very quickly. But of course, the Pantheon, you can put it here, there, and everywhere. 9 times out of 10, people are putting one on site and one on that roam. It allows
Mako to map 3-0. I don't know. Wacko for Mako, map 3-0.
You to go for a replacement if you need to kind of go for a post plant. Say there's a lot of util coming in hot and heavy on site, you can kind of reposition yourselves to that off site. It allows you to kind of reset a bit before going for a retake.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking news, guys. QUALS is back.
For now.
Yeah, finals for NA and EU are tomorrow. They play one team. It gets eliminated today, I think. Winners finals, grand finals, and losers finals are all tomorrow. So 3 games each day.
I see it often, but we can see him here and there. And I do like a little bit of Maverick tricking when it comes through. It looks as though Dora's taking their time to do just that.
Is Uno gonna jump outside?
And Uno's thinking about going out a window and is punished. Teb's waiting, knows that G2...
Is Uno stupid? Does he really think there's no...
What happens?
He thinks that guy's just maving the wall like in the open?
One back, Isaki and Laz goes out the other door. It's just chaos really for G2. They just can't help themselves but jump out the map.
That guy's like, you know what? Fuck it.
It's kind of like I imagine if
he won't do it.
Not to, their heads would start splitting up really, really bigly. Bigly? That's not even a word. Really, really bigly.
It's all right. It's in your
leadership change. Well, they still have the same coach. They just brought in like an assistant coach.
A lot of people think that you can use that cardiac sensor just to get a cheeky little C4 kill, but it's not just about that. It's about feeding information constantly to your teammates. Especially, we've seen a lot of times lately this winter, people kind of using the Pulse and the Spec IO of the Solis in a wombo combo together just to feed them loads of information for very aggressive kind of entry players to play around, you know, on that roam. It's something I really do love to see, and I thought maybe KG2 might be a bit more bullshit using that cardiac sensor. Maybe we'll see someone going a bit more aggro, but they're taking their time with it now. They've tried the aggression, and now they're pulling back just a little bit. Remember, Doki on that Scopus. There's a lot he can do.
Yeah,
This information is still being fed to them by Lemno too. So realistically, again, for G2, the information that they do get, they just have to work out where you are, and if there's someone missing, they can establish where they're going to be. Essentially, they knew that this jump in was coming, and they shut it down somewhat. Beautiful C4 to come out there from Lemno. Lolo and Dora yeeted and deleted from the server. Gemini now in a 1 versus 3. What can he do, Sham?
It's going to be very, very difficult to pull this one back, though the silver lining is that Alamao isn't on that much HP and is likely downstairs. It looks as though there's two members. It looks as though everyone's made it back up to that middle floor for now. Defuse is lying down. It's going to be very difficult to recover this one. It's actually looking like Gemini doesn't even really want to challenge it. Doesn't realise there's actually no one down there. There's no one actually challenging off this angle. They've not decided to play the vertical. They're just deciding, no. Doki sends out a little come on to get the speed up, and it looks as though Gemini's going to let this one pass by the wayside. Doesn't want to take that gunfight and do anything with it. I think it's an informal timeout for a sector.
You can't do that attack if you don't have any presence underneath. They didn't bother with under. And it's a lazy attack.
Quickly, this is what went wrong.
If you're trying to go like site direct just to storage, you have to at least... You don't have to send somebody under, but you need to have that info so that if they are under, you do have to put like, bring somebody down there. And typically, if you're going to do that, you want to put somebody in the basement off rip. So then when they try to retake it, you're already there.
Right, we've seen these moments where they're taking their time.
So that was just not a bad. That was just not good planning, I think.
For those aggressive pushes, utilizing the shields, it's exactly what we've spoken about. However, just in that last round, G2 are the ones that had the advantage because they were able to themselves gain that constant flow of information from the cardiac sensor, which allows them to go.
No, G2 won map 1, Walker. They won 7-3.
Entry point you're going to try and go for, and they just have to wait for you to do it.
Just as and so. Okay, now. No. I call it Rome again. I would call it Rome for now, I guess. I've seen this is definitely a Rome for Al on top floor with the Valkyrie. That is the bottom floor that they are defending. Tank and assembly is where we are on the basement. We've got spread with the castles as well. Proxylam's getting deposited around the map just to alert the defense of any of these positions that could come.
Penance Lager beanie.
Okay, though will be the one that lingers
what?
Inside of storage. And
this is a Texas Rangers World Series beanie.
Upside down repel for now of Teb, just making sure that there is pressure inside of
It's a beer.
It's going to start off with yet again another opening pick. It's Gemini.
Yeah, this is a Texas Rangers beanie.
As well, the Ram just before the verts even started, so this could be quite difficult here, Grace.
Absolutely. You do.
What do you mean what happened in G2? They're winning right now.
You've got to be really careful.
We're just roasting G2 when they're winning too.
On the vertical from below as well, so you have to be careful. Not only from people contesting the angles, trying to take a gunfight through the floorboards against you, but also things like C4s, for example, albeit Doki is the only one with a C4 left in pocket. Lolo has to pull that goo out of him.
A1 and bolt.
We can try to establish a few more bits of information for Matchco to react to. Again, just looking at how the layout's looking. Maybe again looking out for those black eyes as well, because information has been so important for G2 in these defensive rounds.
Still haven't managed to weed out Doki though.
It's so if he falls back to the Mav holes, it's not obvious like which one he's holding.
There's another player as well going to be potentially coming up that fish staircase.
What do you mean they can't beat Mako? They're winning right now. They're literally winning.
Out some of this information. For now, quite quiet. Just trying to find out where Matchco could potentially go from. You can hear the pre-placed C4 as well. Not sure where it is. I haven't spotted where it has been placed down. This could be tricky for Matchco to deal with if they do not shut down this existing roam game that is still there. You still have.
They can't beat Mako even if they win. Exactly.
Doki could potentially slip the net out.
They may win the battle, but they won't win the war.
Situation, but it looks as though Animus is the point where
type shit.
Through Grace, and they're going to head in just now. Deal with the Cade Claw as well, just for no reason other than to stop the annoyance of the electricity in their ears. Alamal on the very, very deep angle there, holding it with the hollow, so not quite able to react quick enough though. A little prone angle as they move forward and forward and forward to try and maybe release the C4. It's not happened yet though, but all
Also 4 members of the defense inside of sight here. Blaz will find one. He's going to find himself a down on the other one at the same time. The defuse is going to be cold on the floor. They're going to have to drop and get it. Almal's got a double inside of this round as Lolo now is in a 1 versus 3. Finds another, but death from above as Loira makes the strike. We'll drop that hatch and finish off the round.
Not looking so hot for Mako, and they're going to burn their time out here.
Like the janitors. G2 coming out very strong now, gaining that round advantage, and rightfully so, Matchco are going to call for that timeout. They don't want to let this slip away from them, trying to prevent themselves from going into the swamp, the sewers of that lower bracket.
Yes, exactly.
Especially given that they have to go up against potentially a very hard done by ITB, shall we say?
Exactly. A bit vengeful spirit, I would kind of describe them probably at this point. You know,
on Rio energy, 100%. It's something that Matchco really aren't probably looking forward to too much. So they need to try and keep hold of this. Again, they lost their map. They have to try and contest against G2 now. Lighthaven is a map that's still pretty decent for them. They're just really struggling here, and I do think a big part of it was, again, that first half. I think G2 themselves knew exactly how they wanted to play on the attack. Matchco weren't really playing around the utility as effectively as I thought they would, to kind of deny the approaches that G2 could take. Again, even from the get-go, the operator bans, I was a bit scratching my head.
Attackers need to locate
Matchco, they have to dig deep. Lots of information may be key. We'll see if they do go for these repicks. But if they can try and maybe get a bit more info, try and work around the positionings of G2, go for some pinch pressure to maybe just isolate some of these players. That's a big thing about G2. Sometimes they do isolate themselves. Maybe a divide and conquer strategy on this.
G2 doing all this just to lose to Rexon. Is that the better or the worse Rexon? That's the question.
Again, it's site pressure comes in thick and fast. It's just whether or not you have the kit to deal with those alternative angles. Yes, you can get the IT wall open. We've spoken about this very, very swiftly. You know, they're not really contesting it too much with anything. And okay, maybe a mute jammer may go on it. Maybe we'll see a mirror window go on it. But again,
which one is that SI again? They're about to both be. Rexon versus Rexon.
Very swiftly get that breach open. It's just the connector pushes that tend to be a bit freaky.
Impact net, just to stop that wall from being fully opened up. Say connector, but they do get it open up relatively early. I think it didn't even land actually. Sounds like it's actually opened it fully up. Maverick as well in the hands of Dora yet again, making quick work of this IT breach. Well, I'll say quick work, but we'll come back to that one in just a second. Maybe not the most flattering attempt at it. Does the Swiss cheese come to mind for that one, Grace? I think.
a little bit, just a little bit.
But they'll make him work of it again there. Yes, there we go. Maverick trick comes through. The Zofia combination, as you would put.
You think they trade jerseys like in the NFL?
IT, Loira,
you mean like jersey swaps?
So
people
far,
do that, yeah.
You know, so far the MVP of this entire thing so far, of this actual particular game is existing at the top. Okay, that's not ideal. Gemini fortunately gets caught out with a swing from Uno, and will leave the round inside a minute and a half.
Shotguns on this site hold are always a sight to behold, but that was very nasty indeed. Again, Loira holding onto Warehouse with those cube barriers as well. It's a kind of becoming a bit more of a standard thing nowadays. If his army isn't banned out, that you do see this really structured and solid Warehouse hold. So rightfully so much, they're not really willing to contest Warehouse just yet. They're trying to force things a little bit kind of, again, I don't want to say one-dimensionally, because realistically they should try and get connector pressure, but they just know there's a lot of setup there that's going to make it incredibly difficult, especially when people have already fallen to those shotguns.
We're still lingering over on the warehouse rafters, and just
the hell is the point of that ace?
Really struggling to get.
What was that for Shaquille O'Neal? What the fuck?
Still also haven't cleared out the CC hallway, so still put quite a lot of work to do here for Matchco. This is going to be a very tricky end. Last time they were on this site, Teb just took the bill by the horns and just pushed right in, got himself triple. So potentially going to need something like that, but this position here from Loira will have to be removed. They will have to get him out of there. They just end up with the Capital bolts. It does move him a little bit, but he's going to find Doki's actually taken up that position now. Sorry, Doki finds one on the other side as Loira actually falls to Dora on the doorway. 20 seconds left here, Grace.
20 seconds and a lot of curiosity coming out from G2, who are in a very happy position right now. Lolo deals with one, Doki will fall, but again, the timer is ticking. They need to find these bodies.
Match point for G2.
Blaz will clean up shop.
G2 look a lot better today. Mako, I don't know if they're just playing worse, playing the same, and G2 are just playing better or what, but this isn't a very close match so far.
Of G2. Match point, series point. Is this Matchco going into the trenches of the lower bracket?
I fear it might be. I fear it might be. But it is not done, as my friend Dianic would say. It's not over until the score is set. Happy birthday to Dianic today. It's not a birthday, but fake birthday. Mailish highlighted it, I guess. Now,
what?
Into this round, Grace.
Happy birthday. It's not her birthday. But what? What did the caster just say? He said, happy birthday. It's not her birthday, but like what? That was confusing.
For me is that I just really want Matchco to, like I said at the start of this, please remember that Moira exists. Please, I'm begging you. It just seems to get away with murder, like genuinely just getting away with murder currently right now, and managing to linger in position. So I'm not quite. I'm expecting Matchco to try and flush it, but they just don't. Moira way up on the top floor for now.
Yeah, I don't think. I know that G2 do not like labs, so I'm assuming G2 picking labs means that Mako just like don't play it at all. And Mako probably didn't expect them to pick it. So I think they just caught him off guard, because I definitely don't think that Mako looked like they play this.
We've seen G2 shut these,
or they play it much. Like it doesn't seem like they're comfortable on it.
Will we see the same again? G2 knowing fully how they want to play around these shutdowns. Once again, Doki on the Pantheon, willing to get freaky, trying to go for these doorway peeks, these doorway swings, looking to shut
Mako
down.
played it and won it over ITB Academy. Yeah, but I mean that's
Again, if you're able to establish a little bit of a
that's ITB Academy. No shade meant, but I mean it's a little different.
Get away scot-free. Already got that player count in your favor. You've already rustled the jimmies somewhat.
I think after this match, I'm going to hop off and get ready for our scrim, but then I'll be live again for NA later today. Because NA doesn't start until 5 Eastern.
We'll just go for it. Win your ones. We'll hold this pixel, this tiny little pixel, till the cows come home.
Yeah, I'm just giggling in the background there, because I think that was a bit more of a...
on purpose with G2. Doki's going to be feeling the pressure here now to blitz.
I mean, that's worth it. Kill blitz.
No, gets immediately refragged as Gemini comes in from behind and also finds themselves down on the ground. Oh, at the very least, Doki managed to shut down one of the prongs of this attack in the form of the shield operator.
Is Fresh streaming?
Gemini recovered, back up on their feet. Now they can start to make work of this vertical.
He is okay.
As you would say. We'll see how that now starts to formulate the rest of this round in the final minute.
GG's. Yeah. I don't know if it's GG's, but I do think, like I said, whether it's Mako just not... Yeah, it's GG's. Mako not playing as well today, G2 playing better, a combination of the both, but G2, I mean, this wasn't even a very close match. Honestly, I feel like if Into the Breach don't beat Mako, I think G2 have like a free ride. Like I think they smoke Asparagus and then they just like qual for free basically.
Very convincing stuff there from G2, just like we kind of thought it would.
Good job to G2 though, looking a lot better today.
They close that one out, and it is that man again, Loira with the MVP.
I'm gonna. Do I not have access to clean feed? Is there a clean feed? I probably do if there is one, but I'm gonna hop off because we scrim in a little bit. Just wanted to get off the computer. Oh yeah, I probably could get it. I didn't know there was one, Justin. I will be live for the NA quals, which start at 5 Eastern, so I'll be back live then. I'll raid Fresh for now. Fresh on desk. So he's going to continue watching. I think the last match is ITB against Mako. So I'm going to raid Fresh. You can go over there and check it out. I'll be live again for NA later tonight. So I'll see you guys then. All right, see you guys later. 5 Eastern.